Good evening. Can I welcome you to the Ennerdale and Kinside Parish Council meeting on Tuesday the 27th of September. The time starting is 18:35. The clerk will be recording throughout to aid minutes. The apologies that we've received are from Councillor Outhwaite. Can we have a vote to accept them apologies, please? Yep. I'll accept. Yeah. Agenda item 2, declarations of interest. Anybody got anything to declare with items that's on the agenda?
Richard and Dan. I believe you both have an interest in one of the planning items. You both have a, but
Sorry. The bridge is on the planning, so it's declaration for
Planning's passed. Yeah. Must be confused.
It's coming as planning because there's been some letters of complaint come in, Richard. No.
well, regardless of where it is, we'll call it correspondence then. But so you'll declare an interest for this one. It is listed. I mean, and you are at the same address, Dan.
Okay. Noted, Richard did not declare the interest. Item 3, exclusions of press and public. There's nothing that I'm aware of on the agenda that requires the exclusion of the press and public. Moving on to item 4, to approve the minutes of the EGM 23rd of June, 30th of June and the 19th of July. Yeah. So the 23rd of June, can we approve them minutes? I asked in an email where they were factually incorrect.
So factually incorrect, the statement at the start at 73906/2022 about the point of order of the EGM not having public participation. That statement was true that it was stated, but it was a false statement. There had been public participation on the EGM. That was the correction to that statement.
Which standing order did it breach? That was the problem. There was no standing order given of which. To do a point of order, you've got to give a standing order that it's breaching. Yeah, but to raise a point of order, Danny, you've got to have a standing order that it's breaching against it. No, Richard.
What we've got is the second note. So that's replying to that one. Right, you can raise a point of order on the agenda as it comes in. My understanding, that's not accepted. That's there. It was more context behind items considering mediation. Basically, the proposal of the motion was changed, and that then changed the voting arrangements after. So councils that were doing mediation knew going forward and against on that.
So we're moving to the 19th.
Is that 19th?
Yeah, that was 19th of July. No, 23rd of June, didn't
Can I just ask the question? You've made a point to tape these meetings, so we tape these meetings as well, because we found that the minutes on March minutes, we went to the council and they found all them things weren't true because the minutes had been recorded wrong. But then when we translated that off the recording, it was right, what we'd said, and we had to amend the minutes by the recording. So what we're saying here, off the recording, Daniel's went off the recording, and every word he's given you is truth. Off the recording.
Off the recording, but minutes are not verbatim.
Hang on. So that says the truth. But you want us to falsify them and miss things off in minutes.
Minutes
Like
are there to
March,
minutes.
it caused a lot of trouble. Then the county council found you not happy with the minutes. You should have had them right.
The county council didn't find any. No, they did not.
Right.
Sorry, Richard.
So, are we saying that we
No
don't
idea what
record
you're talking
now?
about
So why
there.
do we bother recording it? It's a factual thing.
Minutes are there to record a motion,
Excuse me.
the resolution.
If we record something, we've got to be factual and truthful.
So which,
So the minutes are truthful. We've been given
Which,
that.
where is it not untruthful?
All the listed down the PDS.
No.
And I've checked them. What I've looked for is basically use context and decision making. And you believe that's not right to be put in there.
No.
That's
It's
what
just
my comments are.
superfluous narrative that
If-
is not needed in minutes.
if there was a resolution that you thought was factually incorrect on, then we can look at that. But if it's not a resolution or a motion that's incorrect.
Do you feel lucky? Parton wasn't very lucky. That context.
Parton is not Ennerdale, Richard.
And I hope you read my comment that that was before my time when councillors decided to write their own minutes. Yes. So,
Please.
should we take a vote to accept those minutes?
Can we have a vote to accept the minutes of the 23rd of June? To accept? Richard's accepting.
This is for
This is for accept, Richard.
23rd of June. Well, wait your turn until she asks
Right,
for
can we have,
against.
can we have a vote for, in favour of accepting these minutes? Yes? 3. Against the minutes? 3.
Against.
My vote for.
Yeah.
Now you've told me the falsified minutes again. I want that recorded. You falsified that.
You can't fetch to me where it's false, Richard.
You've been given the advice.
You can't fetch to me where a resolution is incorrect.
3 people that voted for them and you do that.
Are you,
Then 3 people voted for them. That's the resolution that was
Excuse me, Richard, that's an access.
What time does it end as well? Because last time at the meeting you said you didn't read them.
Point of order, Richard.
No. She said at the meeting last time she didn't read the minutes or the correspondence because she had 400 jobs. So I'm just asking her.
Excuse me, stop making generalisations you know nothing about.
I've just asked him, have you read the corrections?
I'm not answering your questions, Richard.
Fine. So, the 3 people that voted against it can that be recorded, then 3 people have voted against it.
3 people we voted against because it's 3-3 and I've took the deciding vote.
if you're asking for a recorded vote, then that's fine. I shall record the vote. That's all you need to do.
Right. The minutes of the 30th of June. Propose to accept. Vote for accept. Richard, are you voting to accept the minutes? No. Sandra? Accept. Yeah.
Against.
Against?
Yeah. Oh, dear.
The minutes for the 19th of July. Propose to accept.
Where it says there's no amendments to the minutes. We did put in there that there was some corrections to put in, but not time to go through it. Minutes is very complicated at the same tonight, but nothing was brought to the meeting to check the minutes of the same. Yeah.
Yeah, so there were no amendments proposed on the night.
Yeah.
They were passed.
I proposed one about point of order from the 17th of May because that was struck out of the context of the vote, but that wasn't changed.
But it wasn't.
I think with all the noise that happened with the minutes, it just kind of got voted away. So
The minutes have already been passed. So the minutes of the 19th of July, is there anything factually incorrect?
there's on the public participation piece on 3, members of the public asked what the Parish Council had done in response to the chair said it was a written response. It was just put in context into our councillors agreed that, but I didn't know it, but it's the councillors Rick Elsewhere and Richard Taylor said that's agreed, it's a major issue, and that we should get the lordship put pen to paper, which is where the chair said go for a written response
That was a written response to the public.
to the public, so
Yeah.
I'll give it to the public. Right. Nothing else to say on there. We're on that then, so is that mediation on that one as well?
Yeah.
Mediation one, yeah, it was just basically stating that the proposal, the motion was changed in the meeting. We haven't said that on that. Relying on it, so the mediation, give you that narrative sense of, I haven't got it printed out from me. It's basically saying that council agreed.
So it does say exactly what Councillor Outhwaite proposed.
But it proposed the motion was changed during the conversation of that line manager, so we need to record that. it wasn't-
Line manager.
Mediation.
No, mediation. If you change the motion in the middle of the meeting, you should say that the original motion that was on the board was changed.
It was a motion that did come up with in the meeting though. And then he decided to change his motion to add the clerk. So it states the motion and what was passed and voted on.
Things like that, yeah, the board should be included. That's the change there. I haven't got that on me, sorry.
Can't find it in here, is it?
Move on for the wrong topic. Minutes. Motion raised was to agree with Cal to provide mediation for Ennerdale and Kingside Parish Council. All councils agreed with mediation was way forward. Council Taylor asked if the clerk would be included in mediation, and this was confirmed, yes. We changed the position for views of how the mediation should be run by some councillors. Council Elsewhere proposed a change to the motion to include the clerk, national vote. The vote for mediation took place with proposal seconded but was not unanimous.
It wasn't unanimous, nobody. The vote carried because it was the.
Yeah,
It's-
all I'm saying is the vote was carried, that's fine, but it wasn't unanimous as
But-
to how councils have been represented.
A recorded vote wasn't asked for it on the dot.
Everyone agreed to mediation, and that was different to that, which is something I don't want to go on about now, because that's just going to waste time with me.
Right, well, we can look at what the original wording was on that, and what we have actually on the agenda. It says mediation, to agree for CALC to provide mediation to Ennerdale and Kinnyside Parish Council. The costs for this will be £100 for the mediation and 45p mileage, 82 miles equals £36.90. It needs to be noted that mediation will only work if all participants are willing to engage. So that was on the agenda, and the accompanying statement says mediation offered by CALC. Due to the unrest within the council, I propose all councillors attend a mediation course offered by CALC to assist the cohesion of the council. The proposed date is the 9th of August at 7 p.m. Motion to agree for CALC to provide mediation to Ennerdale and Kinnyside Parish Council. The cost for this will be £100 for the mediation and 45p mileage. 82 miles equals 36.90. It needs to be noted that mediation will only work if all participants are willing to engage. So that was the accompanying report, but as I say, on the actual agenda, it was, well, I've read them both out, so. It was clarification more than anything, because
That's the question, why,
I think that's what one thing with clarification, isn't it? As on the note on that.
the problem we have is the minutes are going out too late, so people forgot what's been said. So is it 10 days precedence that good practice says we should have the minutes out in 10 days, which I think we should have a talk about and have the minutes out in 10 days. And the agenda should be given out probably just after the minutes, and people can consider it, the public can consider it, and see what we're talking about, and it should all be on the website, open, truthful.
That would
That's
be
a discussion for another meeting.
That's for another
The
meeting
question
if you
I
want to
have
put a
ask is,
proposal forward.
You've accepted these last 2 sets of minutes, and it hasn't been the truth. You've just misled.
No, you haven't come out of the way it's incorrect.
Telling the truth, and you've gone away from that to certain council report. Now,
Richard, I've asked.
I'm just saying,
No.
why do you bother? Why does the public and when's it going?
I have asked where it is. The resolution has been incorrect.
No, it is incorrect because what you're saying.
But nobody can give me that incorrection. The resolution has not.
That's fine. The consequences.
The only edition, 772 or 722, remember the public raised it. Like what we're doing now, we're burning through business time to discuss what's on the agenda, and not getting down to actually discussing business that the public have attended the meeting for. So it was just given the reasoning that most of the clerks now brought public participation.
That was Councillor Lamb suggested that to me afterwards.
Yeah, and I think
Mrs. Cloter asked for it as well, yes.
Did
she?
Yes, she did.
She made administration, and we haven't actually discussed anything directly impacting or the interest of the public. So it's just to add that statement in there. Actually, like across basically, the member of the public raised concern about the order of items on the agenda, and that's if the order would be changed. Things that were of interest to the public that we put at the end didn't get discussed. Suggested council should be moved on the agenda. So we have actioned it. It's just to record that the member of the public has also suggested it as well.
Yeah, I agree with that, Mr. Gray. Yeah, I remember Alan saying about having to leave and having families and things.
Yeah.
So I can't recall that.
It would also be helpful if councillors commented on the minutes when, as soon as they went out, rather than waiting a week
or 2 days before.
The minutes were still out well before this meeting, Richard.
We need to have a practice where we have our minutes out in 10
Yeah,
years.
we can propose that for the agenda for November, and we'll look at it.
That's good practice for most councils. 10 days turnaround. So to stop this confusion and everything being wrong, if people plenty of time to catch it in. So can we agree that we'll have them out in 10
We can't
days?
agree today because it's not on the agenda.
We've
But we can put it onto November's agenda, Richard.
clarifications from the clerk at all times, and was discussed that
Yep.
how we do it.
It's in our standing orders as within a month.
Yeah, and I don't want to go through it all tonight because it's just basically looking at.
Can we go back to this?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
not
go
not
back
to
to
discuss
this.
tonight.
Right.
It's just we can take it offline.
So
Right,
I'm not
yeah,
sure
but-
about
So
that.
can
I
I-
can't recall that at all.
Can I have it recorded in the minutes that I've asked for it to be put on the agenda for next week?
Yeah.
Right. And also for the agenda to be put out right after the minutes.
How can the agenda be put out right after the minutes? Otherwise you won't be able to get anything else on for the next. No, they
No, once the
can't.
agenda's issued, you can't add to it, Richard. Once an agenda is issued, it can't be amended. There was a form came out for agenda requests. There was a form came out in our emails for agenda items request form. If that goes back to the clerk, then it'll be going on, won't it?
So we don't know whether we're duplicating. We're not saying
Well,
people put motions in.
If you fill the form out,
Certain people even
if you
certain
fill the
rights about
form
certain
out,
things in
Richard, the form gets filled out, goes back to the clerk. I'm sure she can tell if there's a duplication.
That's 5 times for the transport thing that you put on the agenda, and 5 times. 5 times?
No,
No,
And proper motions raised.
no.
And used to turn it down.
Don't.
It's all right. I just want that recorded. for the last 5 times for the transport.
Well, I won't record inaccurate statements in the minutes, thank you.
I'm asking you to put down the minutes.
Right.
5 times.
Do you want to read
So
that?
can we just shorten this a wee bit, Dan? Are you happy if we go for, because again, I don't want to get these minutes turning into epics. Yeah. If I go to a member of the public, raised concerns about the order of items on the agenda and asked if the order could be changed, things that were of interest to the public had been put at the end and didn't get discussed. No,
It's
needs
sorted
sorted now. It's just simply because I can't recall that at all. And so the final sentence I can't recall. The first part I can recall Ellen saying about moving things of interest up. I can't recall you saying about putting councillor updates further up. I can recall Councillor Lamb speaking to me afterwards and saying about it would be helpful if things got moved up. Well, it's
Can I make a suggestion? If the minutes come out within a month, hopefully nearer the 10 days that Richard's asking, and you make all your points and comments about the minutes then, we would spend an awful
You
lot
did
of
not,
Richard.
time
We
to
have.
start
We
a
did
meeting.
them 3 days
which
ago, and
is-
she doesn't want to accept them.
Yeah, 3 days ago.
But we didn't get them. You've got to check the minutes on the card.
you've had everything over a month. You've had everything. Well, why?
Maybe as you said there.
Are you
that's
happy
fine,
with that,
because
Daniel?
It doesn't take anything out of context. And what's been done, it's been shown on the agenda.
Yeah. So you want to take a vote on that for an amendment in there?
Right, can we take a vote on this amendment to the meeting minutes of the 19th of July into the public participation?
Came down at the end, 720722.
So it's amending the councillor updates.
That's it.
I don't really agree. Why is it going into there?
Because that's when Ellen mentioned
okay.
it. That's when it came up.
Yeah, it confuses it when there's public participation and a bit that's not in public participation. Right, so for minute item 7720722, and the amendment will be a member of the public raised concerns about the order of items on the agenda and asked if the order could be changed. Things that were of interest to the public had been put at the end and didn't get discussed. Can we have a vote to accept them, please? Unanimous. Right, moving on. Agenda item 5, reports from the ward or county councillors. Gwyneth?
I'm just going to start with that on prison surgery because I know many residents of Ennerdale that were registered at prison surgery. Coltonborough Council overview the scrutiny committee under health and wellbeing have invited Mike Hunter, Colton locality manager of North Cumbria Primary Care Trust, to a meeting in November to answer questions regarding the closure of the surgery. While Bellevue has indicated the Frisington surgery will likely close, NHS England is yet to receive the application. In Bellevue's case, NHS bosses have held talks with the leadership of Bellevue Healthcare to identify short and longer term solutions, making the existing contract more sustainable. My feeling is that what we need is a bit more fairness. The surgeries at Cootingmore, Seascale, Egremont, Whitehaven, if they're open 5 days a week, why can't some of them be open, say, 4 days a week, and give us into 3 days or something like that? We're just looking for a bit more fairness. On to another matter, warmth and support that is being offered to residents. A free hot lunch, wellbeing advice and new activities are on offer at the Warm Wellness Hub, which starts next month. Colvin Council's social prescribing team will host the event at the United Reformed Church in Whitehaven from 10 AM until 2 PM every Monday, starting on October the 3rd. The initiative is designed to alleviate some of the problems caused by the high cost of living and is delivered in partnership with Rosehill Theatre Groundworks and the NHS. Everyone is welcome and food hot drinks will be available throughout the day. Now apparently this week is Great Big Green Week. On September 28th from 10 AM until noon, vegetable boxes will be sold outside the Beacon Museum in Whitehaven. Each 3-pound box contains the ingredients for vegetable soup, a recipe, seeds to grow vegetables and information on climate change. From September 28th, on September 28th from 2 PM until 4 PM, there will be a tea and chat event in Bissington Wall Garden. Visitors can enjoy a green tea, buy a vegetable box and browse through craft stores. On October the 1st, there is a volunteer gardening session at Bissington Wall Garden. The event runs from 10 AM until 1 PM. Anyone can come along and help out with a gardening task. No experience is needed. Colvin social subscribing team will be there to offer free wellbeing advice and support volunteers to other volunteers to other organisations. The vegetable boxes will also be on sale. At the Beacon, a Rembrandt masterpiece is on display from the 24th September to the 8th of January 2023. There can be a €400 Rembrandt masterpiece. It's of Rembrandt's wife, Saskia. The piece is on loan from the National Gallery in London as part of the Masterpiece Tour. Access to the painting is included in the normal museum admission price. In October, the recycling boxes will be replaced by recycling bins. In terrace houses, I believe, can still use bags. There's also cost of living support. Colvin Council has a cost of living webpage to help residents access the support they need, including help with benefits, finances, access to food, heating and housing, and over 55 support. I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody's got anything.
I've got questions about the bins. Have they taken the old bins away, the old boxes?
I don't think they are. I think people, if they want to retain their boxes, they can. You know, some people might use them as.
For keeping junk in,
But I mean, when you put them in plastic recycling, then I would say, yeah. But I think if you want to keep them, I think you can. Because people could use them for storage or even putting plants in the garden. I suppose if you go hold them, they be used as planters. Yeah.
Have you had many responses on the survey? Because I think who's running that? No, we put it on the website. Who's managing that? You haven't much back on it.
Sorry,
The survey, physical surgery for the Belgium.
Was that the?
Do you want it to close? What's your opinion?
Yeah, it would go back. It would go back to the NHS.
Yeah.
And there is a petition ongoing. I'm not sure it's been presented yet. There's a petition.
The surgery claim amount, entities need to pay a release on that.
I'm not too
I
sure.
think that's what it is. It's one of them sort of hospital stroke doctors that's been built and then they're rented and costs the government a fortune. But Chisholm isn't, I think they own that, don't they?
I think Parish do, yeah.
They own that one, so it's, you can't really say can't afford to rent, you know.
I think, I mean, we all appreciate why it's probably closed, because there's a lack of GPs and nurses. I mean, we all appreciate that, but people still need surgeries that they can access, you know, not 2 bus rides. If you haven't got a car, it takes 2 bus rides to get to everyone. Or, you know.
So at the minute it's ceased doing business, but it hasn't officially shut. That's
No, it's empty.
It's empty.
I mean, no, it's closed.
Yeah.
There's nothing going on in the surgery building. And I believe they're taking out computers and things.
It was just, like you said, you hadn't had the official letter to say it had been shut. That's all I was thinking of. I've maybe misunderstood, that's all.
We have the staff there, don't we?
Yeah.
I say the staff, I was talking to 2 members of the staff the movement there.
It's not looking good.
No, it isn't.
No.
Is the petition online, Gwyneth?
Pardon?
Is the petition online?
I think it's still open, yes.
Yeah. If you can email me a link to the petition, and then I can put it on our website and Facebook page for anyone who wants to.
Thank you, Gwyneth.
Councillor Linda Jones Bowman, I do apologise, I really haven't very little to the board. I'm still shadowing, it's just a lot of churn at the moment. So far with members, we only have the overview and scrutiny committee up and running, which I do sit on. And we've pulled our first in, which is the plan for the shadow authority. So we've been going through that, which it's evolving as will the council. I believe they're on exec, they're interviewing officers for future jobs. So yeah, it's very much just ongoing. Which services we're going to disaggregate, split or not is not very clear. I think that you know more than I do. I think that library service, Westmill don't want, so Cumberland will keep library services, but at the moment I do apologise, yeah, I know very little.
I don't know if I read in the press, but my understanding is that some of the services have been split between the two, and the ones that the film need to carry on even in the interim as a combined service. So for instance, Westmoreland and Clarence become the pensions authority, Cumberland retaining coroners and things like that. And that was all that was in the press last week. We did also look in the air.
Thank you, Linda.
That's why I'm not repeating what's online, because it sounds good. Online, yeah. Scary. Shooting along.
How many months you got left? How many months?
April, yeah. Everything is. I would imagine it's going to take 5 years more to get settled. There's going to be some. It's quite scary, to be quite honest. Social service, education. We don't know with the finances of the government at the moment. Yeah, we don't. Hopefully, we'll be going in with a deficit. Yeah. Because we have nothing really to take finance-wise, take in. We are the poorer of the two going into our shadow authority. So, yeah, it isn't looking very good.
Interesting. Watch the space.
Thank you. Arthur?
Thank you, Chair. Just a couple of updates on highways related issues. The Copeland Remainder Traffic Regulation Order has gone out to formal advertising. You should have received that in the last week or so, Jane.
What was it? What's it there?
You'll receive it in minutes. I'll forward you the copy I got. That does include some of the proposals within Ennerdale, the ones that we discussed at the previous meeting back in January.
There was only the school going forward, wasn't there?
Things on the school went forward. I can't remember what you agreed about
I think that was going to be a full village plan rethink, wasn't it?
Yeah, the school ones went forward. Obviously, we're going to have a whole conversation with the school. So that should all be out there. The other one to note is, all what's going to take place until April next year, is the A595 will be shut for 10 weekends starting in April next year. Obviously, the main diversion route will be the A5086, so that will start to cause potential issues and increase traffic. 16 was
Where's it going to be closed?
well, they're not quite clear. It won't necessarily be full closures all the time. It's to do the drainage and improvements on Morrisby, basically behind Morrisby Hall, and then resurfacing it right along to Pelican while we do it.
Was there talk of them putting a roundabout there as well? So
No,
they've scrapped that.
Purely to do the drainage and making roads secure.
About 2018 it was.
Yeah.
And the park people are still out with pitchforks demanding it.
That could impact on the highway. Happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Arthur? No? Thank you, Arthur. Agenda item 6, clerk's update.
Righto. I still need to arrange that SSI training. Standards and Ethics Committee advice. A letter was sent to the Council on behalf of the Standards and Ethics Committee following the recent Code of Conduct hearings. This was forwarded to all councillors. I've been advised by the Electoral and Democratic Services Manager that the Council should act on this letter, discuss it and consider what actions we should take. So I request that councillors come forward with proposals for the next meeting, please. Queen Elizabeth II Memorial. Many councils will be organising a memorial of some sort to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Is this something that the parish wish to consider? So again, if you could get feedback and proposals and bring them forward to the next meeting, that would be good. And similarly, coronation celebration, commemoration. It's currently estimated the coronation of King Charles III will take place in spring or early summer of 2023. And does the parish wish to organise some sort of celebration for the coronation or plant a commemorative tree or any other ideas people might have? And again, if you can come with your ideas for the next meeting, we can show that one. Empty properties, we've now had a response from United Utilities as well. They say they have 3 properties. They have Lowmore End, which they expect to market next year. The mill, for which the planning applications for demolition have been submitted, and today we have the wildlife tower, whatever it is. Yeah. And Bleach Green Cottage, which is being let to a local family.
Is it possible that you could have a copy of the letter that was sent from them?
From them, I've circulated it to everyone.
Did you say it's circulated?
Yeah, it was an email. I did send it to everyone.
Just restriction between the email address that might have listed on the old one.
I had one in actually on the night of the 19th when we were having our last meeting, but yeah, I did hit the forward just after that. Yeah. Just give me a shout and I'll dig them back out and forward them again. Planning updates. The planning application for 6 Kirkland Road, the application has been approved there. The planning enforcement appeal for Fear and Place Farm, that has been dismissed. And neither have I.
National Park not being interested.
Sorry?
Is the National Park not being interested?
No.
It's on the National Park website.
Well, it's on the website then, but they've not been in touch with me. I haven't got it.
I'm just saying,
I can't give you what I've not got. And neither do I have the next one, land adjacent thorn trees, planning refusal, appeal, dismissed. I haven't got that one either. They don't need to be discussed. I'm just reporting back.
It was on the agenda at the last meeting to be discussed. So can we have it on the agenda for the next meeting to discuss them matters, because we're not discussing them tonight, and then we get a copy of everything and see what the outcome was.
I've just told you what the outcome was.
No,
the planning
we want to read the full outcome and discuss it, because it was a full meeting over that. 2 full meetings.
Well, Go on the website then.
I'm requesting, can I have it recorded that I want it on the agenda, please? Then we can discuss them too.
There is no
already
discussion
been
to have. Can you
decided,
tell me
Richard?
what the motion will be? Because there is no motion there. What will be the motion?
It's open and honest and see appeals and what the decision was from the Secretary of State.
So do you want
Have you got
the
something to hide, Claire?
do you want the full decision for the application approval as well?
Well,
You know, do I have to get
all?
all?
On our website.
Why?
Open and honest. So can I put on the agenda, then we can discuss it. What's the issue? Just put it on the agenda, we'll discuss it.
Well, what's the purpose of it being on the agenda, Richard? It's not normally discussed, Richard.
We normally discuss Secretary of State's decision.
No.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
We'll only come back with the results. Passed, declined. That's.
Well,
It's never been on in the past.
Just all I'm asking.
It's very obvious, Richard.
What?
Yes.
What is it? Right. Yeah. We need it on the next agenda.
So is this a precedent we're going to start, Richard, that we have everybody's planning appeals and
No,
decisions read out?
We go through them.
We had an emergency meeting for it, and we haven't really had a discussion about it, what the outcome was. And that's what needs to happen.
We've never normally discussed the outcomes. It's finished. It's over.
That's it. The outcome is stated
The
there.
outcome is interesting because we know what.
But the parish council has not received the outcome. There isn't an issue, Richard, but it's setting something that we've never done before. Fill the request form in for the agenda and then we'll see. Fill the request forms in for the agenda, Richard.
Your request is not received until I receive that completed form.
Jane, do you want to continue?
I'll continue. We'll ignore this. The next agenda item. No, sorry, not agenda item. I shall carry on. Next item of clerk's updates. Nuisance motorbikes. I reported to both the contact that Arthur gave to me and to our local PCSO. The PCSO responded to say that there are no alternative numbers to ring other than 999 for a crime in progress or 101 for antisocial behaviour. She said that there is currently an operation in place, including the traffic and neighbourhood policing teams, to tackle these issues. Information that would assist them are registration numbers and descriptions of the bikes and riders. Next issue, Bowness Knock car park. The issue of the ice cream vans and wild campers. Forestry England replied to state that neither were authorised and they gave details of who to contact if either are witnessed again. This information has been passed on to all councils and to the resident that raised the issue. And the DFIB at Crowsdale, Forestry England have said that they're unable to sponsor this, so no money there, I'm afraid.
The parish, and as not requesting any monies from them, requested them to sponsor something for the community. And that's what
No, we asked if they would.
Yeah.
And they said no.
They've said they can't, basically.
So the good thing is nothing from the board.
No.
Let's make it clear. But I've taken our land, 10.5 acres, if you want to strip it out of top quality larch, European larch, which is very expensive, and the profits go into their contract into their.
And the other.
We've asked them for.
But on the other side of the coin, Richard.
Just let me finish, please. And we asked them to give a donation towards the people, and they've said no.
So it's not in their policy to do that. That's.
It is, because they've had a donation to something else.
Forestry England said it's not in their policies to do that, so.
No, we maybe need to reconsider what we're doing.
But on the other side of the timber harvesting, we haven't got the money in the parish council to pay for forest harvesters, haulage. We have got a plant health notice on us, and we haven't got the money to act on that. So.
We can poison them, standing. They've got to do that. They'll poison them, just leave the money. It's something that we already discussed. We just leave the money.
The land should never have been planted, so the trees should never have been there. So the trees should never have required to be felled and harvested. Forestry conducting them operations without permission, in my opinion. What's going on with it? So there is a bit of give and take with it. So there's these left side to the corner, wishing her off the rubbish to have an open space for the community to be able to use.
But the position we're in right now, the trees are there, they've grown.
I know.
The trees can be poised and standing up, they don't have to take them down, they don't have to take them down.
It's commercial operation.
Commercial operation for
Contract
property.
But
That's been already decided at a previous meeting.
That's going away from us.
Yeah.
It's just something.
That's just me updating you. If you want to raise a suggestion on a future
I think
agenda,
we can
then.
discuss it in through email and see if we can get something decided.
Yeah.
I think you'd ask them to reconsider that.
Can I make a suggestion?
Can I just ask you to wait for the public
Participation.
participation, please, Walter? Moving, you finished, Jen?
Yeah, that's me done.
Agenda item 7, councillor updates regarding ongoing matters. Wild Ennerdale. Sandra?
Yeah, this was a meeting that took place back in 2008 before our last agenda item, but we didn't actually get around to discuss it. It was the first meeting, the Wild Ennerdale Partnership meeting that I attended. The notes are quite comprehensive in terms of the discussion that took place. I don't know if members of the public had a chance to see them in council.
It was on last.
It was on the documents for the last meeting.
Okay, well, in terms of, I run through what the sort of what was agreed as a result of the discussions. For some time, Rachel Oakley used to attend these meetings as a representative of the Wild Ennerdale Partnership, and that stopped, and we felt that it would be good to have that restarted again. And the plan is that Parish Council representatives, of which there's 2, myself and Rick Outhwaite, would attend every other partnership meeting, and Wild Ennerdale would send a representative, probably 2 people, every other, starting this autumn. She also said that she had in the past received invitations to attend those meetings, but that had stopped happening. So whether that was when we changed clerks or not, I don't know. But I said I'd report back, and if the invitations, if the councillors were wishing to do that, would be extended for those every other meeting.
We still get minutes from the meetings on discussion topics that the parish council sent to them.
Sorry?
Will we still get minutes from the meeting of, say, we issue topics for discussion, but we're not attending? If they're discussing them that's pertinent to that month or so, will they send us a copy of something?
Ask about that at the
It's
next
just making
meeting.
sure that correspondence keeps on going even though we're not attending. Like what we'll send the parish council minutes to Wild Ennerdale even though they're not here.
Yeah.
If we're sending them requests for information, something to discuss, you courtesy is to discuss it and then you get an answer back.
Feedback from it. So if we sent a note saying these are our areas of interest, if there are on discussion, could you update us? I think what they're doing is reporting to us the notes from the part of the meeting that the parish council representatives attend is the current practice.
Yeah.
So we would have to ask what their view was of doing something different.
Yeah, which is, I think, personally fine. They can say yes and they can say no, can't they?
Yeah. Okay. So just moving on a little bit. The discussion around the car parking, which we've already discussed in our previous meetings before, the introduction of charges, which was discussed when we had the community meeting.
No, what did the meeting, what did they discuss at the meeting you were at?
Issues mostly focused at Forestry England and plans for car parking and charges, beaver introduction, lease review of LGFC, and a narrative of commercialising the valley, because I raised questions that some of the points of concern from the public at the community meeting were about commercialisation in the valley, to which partners stated that they'd already had a commercial element to their business for long-running, long-standing, which it was hard to say no they hadn't, because it is commercial activity in the valley. But all activity, they pointed out, was guided by a memorandum of agreement, which we hadn't been aware of that existed, but they duly sent a copy after we requested one following the meeting, and that was circulated with the last
But
agenda.
that was only signed up the week before, wasn't it?
No.
It says on the unless they've got a print today's date out on the bottom, it says the 7th of July.
No, that was when it was
That's been-
printed out. Yeah. They did give a review date, but I'll need to check. I think I put that when I forwarded it to you.
I can't recall.
Yeah, I'll go back and check the review date, but it was already in existence. It wasn't brand new, and it does have a review date. I'll follow up with that date.
What then dimension when you're talking about the code of conduct is the complaints procedure?
I don't think that was a topic of discussion.
Because there isn't a complaint. You've got a code of conduct, but you can't complain. What's the use of having a code of conduct?
So this is about Forestry England having a code of conduct.
Forestry England's got one. National Trust have, but while then they're saying it's their partnership is a code of conduct. So if you've got a code of conduct, you say, well, do you want to do this, that, and the other? So if they are going to do it, how do we challenge it?
So you've got a memorandum.
Has there been something come out? Did Rachel Oakley not send an email out saying that complaints go to the individual stakeholders?
No, we discussed that, and that's why we took upon the line to the Forestry Commission, you, and the National Trust, because they don't have a code, they don't have any ethics, they don't have any standards that you can complain about. So when you write to Ennerdale, they don't register it, they just give you the spiel, and it doesn't go any further. And if you raise it, they just absorb it and pass you off. And that was why we decided as a parish council to write to the National Trust.
We didn't decide as a parish council.
We did decide, that was passed, that we write to the National Trust,
give me the
write
minute.
to United Utilities and the Forestry Commission on the concerns, and we would like Rachel to discuss and itemise what if she comes here. This is the Forestry Commission part of it, it's on their land, this is what was discussed, and then she should define that, so then if we're not happy with it, we have a right to complain.
So what Richard's getting to there is when I was obviously in position as chair, we agreed that we were, because they're not a legal entity, we decided that we wanted single nominated points of contact for every single authorised body, and they will be our points of contact to direct our correspondence.
Which you got, did you not?
You
got the points of contact.
I got those, but
You maybe weren't here then,
Jim
was.
I was told by the former clerk that it had not been gone through council.
No, we did go ahead, Jim, we did it because you were chasing it up because we got James.
I remember, you first off you sent me an email through, which was the initial one that you were going to send about to Wild Ennerdale, which we worked on rewording a bit. Yeah. And then when I said about getting the points of contact from everyone. Yeah.
That was the one.
I understood we were doing that business.
That was why
if it needs clarity.
We got the points of contact though, didn't we?
Got them, yeah.
So we've got a list with a point of contact for each of the stakeholder members of the Wild Ennerdale partnership. So the suggestion is that whenever, in terms of going to a future meeting, is that you're saying because they're not a legal entity, any concern we have, we can't raise through them because there isn't a procedure to follow it through if we disagree with a decision that they make.
So you really
rolling together and you complain to every single individual.
see what happens. Rachel works with the National Trust, but she speaks on behalf of the United Utilities to a degree, and on the degree of the Forest Commission. And sometimes it's all forestry, but to sort that out, how do you sort it? So we're putting in it's an awkward job to do what she's got to do. And really it should be Gareth representing the issues. It should be representing the National Trust. We don't get many issues with the National Trust, it's always the forestry. So that was why it was decided, it was to stop us getting mixed up with the other partners. And if it's a certain partner that's causing us all this constantly, we write to them instead of going to Wild Ennerdale, say, so it's followed through. You have a process and a procedure.
Escalation.
It's no different to us or any government body. The code of conduct of the
But if we've already got the points of contact, then we've got the points of complaint, haven't we?
Yes.
So
if they give you an answer that you don't like and you don't agree with, you just send the right thing and go to a complaint. That was as principally it.
yeah.
Because you can't complain to Wild Ennerdale.
No, but the Wild Ennerdale split up into its own stakeholders, and each of its stakeholders have got its own bit of land, hasn't it?
But
So
when Rachel comes through, she's speaking on behalf of the mushroom.
I
The
think
whole
perhaps if
party.
you can raise this at the next
Yeah.
meeting you go to.
Is
We did send them a letter, mine, explaining that.
It's maybe worth bringing back up that letter
Mm.
and that request for the single point of contact, so before Sandra goes back, we can all refresh what was said
I have a
originally.
copy of that earlier
Yeah.
letter. 'Cause
when
I
is the
think
next Wild Ennerdale?
I don't have the next date because I think they would be coming here if we're rotating.
Right.
So
I think it's a good idea, Sandra, rotating. Or do you think you'll miss out?
Because
that's what the current arrangement is. If we feel that we need to be at all meetings, it would need to be with their agreement. I mean, it's quite a large group of people, and I think the most important thing is that we do make use of that rotation and we do invite reciprocal arrangement here and get that
The
started.
renege from coming.
Because
on
even
numerous
if they
times.
can't resolve every issue without
Yeah.
going back to individual parties, we still need to communicate through
We
both
do,
routes,
yeah,
don't
yeah.
we? So that's really important we do that.
Where they come from, they've stopped coming here, not us going to them.
I
Yes.
think they found it difficult to
there was a bit of
come
furlough,
Yes.
You know,
which some of them weren't
So,
employed at the time.
are we
Then
gonna
they
lose-
decide to come back.
one at a time.
But basically, some of them were furloughed. That was through conversations I'd held with Gary downstairs in the timber meeting. And basically, they never decided to keep coming back. They're on the mailing list. So how they say they've stopped getting the invite, previous clerk, the new clerk passed on the contact list, which is there. Isn't
That
it?
was just for the newsletter that I was
Mm.
told
Yeah.
that was. I wasn't
Yeah.
told I had to invite people
Oh,
to.
no, but even the newsletter, and they're aware of.
And we haven't had a newsletter other than the one that Liz did about March
What
time.
I'm saying is that they are aware of, we have meetings.
Yes,
and they
but
Yeah, so-
actually, if they would like to be invited, it's just courtesy, isn't
Yeah.
it?
They can
So we
come to
would
every
offer
meeting
that
if they want.
courtesy. And can I suggest that we start by getting the rotating established in both directions, and then we move on to proposing, if that's working well, that we have attend every meeting?
Do be aware, over the last 4 or 5 years, it's normally, sorry, I'm can't come, sorry, I can't come on the 4 or 5 years. We don't follow it through, so that's why I was saying the
Well, let's
rotation.
approach it positively and constructively and see
Yeah.
if we can make it start to work.
Have we invited
better.
to the November?
Be nice and yes.
Can you take
No
the noise?
biting.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, but the previous letter,
Yeah,
that
it was
would be
up,
helpful
yeah.
to see, yeah.
I'll take a note now.
Okay, just running through this quickly because I don't want to use up time from there. We did raise Valley Plan. Well, I think actually they raised it too. So that interest in looking at something bigger and more holistic is there. Yeah, so that's something that we need to look at further ourselves as a parish council in terms of initiating some of that. But it is a big undertaking, and I understand there was more training available on looking at those plans as well. Came in one of your emails recently.
So is that our valley plan and engaging with them, or was that them saying they're going to get a valley plan? Just obviously not being there, it reads like it's their valley plan. Was that?
No, that was what we can do, but sometimes it's called a community-led plan, but it's got another name as well.
The valley plan, I know.
Yeah, but that's something
Richard
that
and
we
Nick's
need
mentioned
to
about it before as well,
decide
yeah.
if we're going down that route of doing that and undertaking it, and I think more understanding about what it is and how much work involved needs to be done first before we do it. The car parking charges, it's the same points were raised that I've heard raised before, that the rationale is explained on the basis of visitor numbers increasing, the Forestry England role to provide a safe and sustainable facility. This costs money and income can support this continued facility and an increase in ranger support. A membership scheme will be offered, but there was we didn't really go into any details about what that would be.
Can I just ask you to ask them, they've offered membership schemes in other areas, and then they've taken it away after a few years when they've got what they wanted. So that tends to be their policy. They offer it, and then all of a sudden, a few years down the road, it goes stop. Will they sign a long-term agreement for that and ensure them like 25 years of reasonable car parks if they're going to charge?
We can ask about what details they're looking at. I think one of the things
It's
is
not that I don't trust them.
it's also for local people that if one scheme is introduced in one car park and another stakeholder in the future years wants to want another, that whatever scheme they come up with as a partnership, they should be able to offer a single offer to
Just open a
local
new one up
residents.
now and it's £8 a day and it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So,
We will ask for some more details around their thinking on that. Okay, so the item F was need to reiterate key messages for Beaver to help address concern and rumours. Obviously that this comment came not long after we'd had the community meeting, and obviously what was raised there had been understood by all the partners in terms of the issues and concerns that people had. There was definitely a need for more and clearer communication, and that was fed back, and that we said that the parish council would welcome more communication, and I'm not sure about that last sentence. Website remains a useful source of information, but I guess that's
It's the point that I think we need to be directly engaged with anything that's going on, so then we can then pass information out to the community, so then they're aware of what's going on. So then we're getting information first hand, because it sounds in that last sentence that it's useful, but if they rely on what we may or may not discuss later on, citizen space and consultation, we need to have visible demonstration of change that we pass the community on the website, on the Facebook page, the social media, to put things within areas, and with the like say, they put that fence up.
you know about they discuss the fence?
just one thing at a time. So in terms of having early sight and early involvement in what the developments that are happening, and that we would be happy as a parish council to use our social media to share and distribute what we were being given. Is that what you meant?
It's maybe not. My view isn't to distribute. My view is to get the community's opinion on what they're proposing to do, because basically it's.
They need to know what they're proposing.
So basically, if they're saying we're thinking of doing this, the engagement is, what are your thoughts? What do you do next, and how do you go? And this is potential may or may not.
Is this better leave until your meeting on Tuesday? And dig it into a little bit deeper then? Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay. So shall I just wrap this bit up then?
Just what did they discuss with you? The fencing, the new concentration camp that's been developed at Ennerdale.
I didn't remember discussing.
So none of you have maybe seen it, but there's a new fencing gone up, and it just looks like a concentration camp now.
They put a sign up to say this is what the Beaver fence will look like, and they built the full fence north of the valley with a Valley Irish bridge. So it looks like it would be beneficial to the parish council to get the public aware of some changes and discussions, but
I think that's in keeping with Wild Ennerdale. I suggest you all go and have a look.
It is worth going over a look. It's like the greatest
I have heard about it actually, because I was planning a trip.
Steve McCain would have trouble getting over it.
That's the kind of thing of we should be in conversation, should be that open dialogue to say this is what's going on, and like I say, we're not going to resolve this, and we can maybe talk about it at the next meeting or even via email. We've had a bit of an opening now, but we can let people know.
What sort of length is that fence have they put?
It's going to go
right across from one side to the other.
And up the fell.
Is that where it's at now, up the fell?
No, it's just
by the
off
Irish.
It's just by the Irish bridge now.
We are demonstrating what this will look like when the Beavers come. So it's putting the impression of it's going to happen, rather than where's the consultation. But we're going into digressing into what we need to talk about there. But it's that kind of, we're not getting to know when we need to know, and we're a local authority, so we should basically be able to consult with the public and let them know what's happening.
Okay. So it's courtesy.
Yes, as a minimum. Courtesy. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say something that would have been better open this all out of the church and come put a display in here and say, come and have a look, this is what we're going to put up, and then sit there and listen to people. That would have been a nice.
They might have felt they might be ambushed.
Yes.
Well, there's mostly people.
It is a shame because it
No.
means that people don't get the
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, well,
It
that's why the
stops them from
Normally
engaging.
out all the heat.
But no,
And actually some people are put off by
No,
that.
no.
So we
You'll
need to
find-
think of everybody's needs, not just.
If they're honest, it would be a change.
Yeah, you'll find they've just moved some paths further up, and we need to download that onto our website, and you'll see what we've been accused of doing in other areas. And the people that live there, they put paths in, we didn't do any consultation. And the remark was the treaters like, I think they're in the 18th century, treating us like peasants.
Right, digressing again.
No, what I'm just
Yeah.
saying. So
Comment was just saying, I'll send you a link.
that's what's been.
What it is. It's on the national press, the MPs got involved in lots of different pieces. Not for discussion now, but I'll send you what it is.
If you haven't got people that can communicate with the public, you need to find people that can. That's what they're there for. It's a big organisation,
And now we're
up the game.
And now we're opening dialogue and attending the meetings. I think it's a suggestion that we could make again that could be put forward to getting that local engagement back in place.
Yeah.
We need to build the trust back up between both
Yeah,
parties,
that's
to
the
be
main
honest.
thing.
We really need to build the
So
trust back
we're
up.
saying here that we want to have that dialogue, and we want to have the right environment for that dialogue, so that
Yeah.
it is a constructive dialogue. Is that what we're saying?
You've got to get pros and cons. You've got to be weighed up.
Yeah, well, pros and cons are fine, but we can still have it within a pleasant atmosphere, can't we?
Well,
Where people feel comfortable.
It has to be a civilised engagement, or
There was a
people are
lot of
going to
dialogue
refuse
going
to
on
deal
about
with us.
John Hines, and the while the team were running it, and they hit conflict into war, and I made the recommendation that Diane O'Leary took over, who worked for the Lucas Trust, and she was a people person, she could communicate. There was no problem after that. The problem lies with, you need the right people for the right job, and maybe that's the situation they need to look at. For a big organisation, they need a man. You know.
Right. Sandra?
On the last positive note, a local resident identified that there'd been an award for Wild Ennerdale, an environmental award this week, and with a picture of local residents who are part of the volunteer supporters. So that was positive, and it's good to see local people involved and, giving some time and effort into that. So I think we just have to recognise the positives as well.
I didn't see when I looked at the 3 awards, I think the other 2 people were volunteers, and that person that got the award was an employee. So I would say maybe it wasn't just looked at right. You would look at the volunteers that do the work outside, up and above normal life, to the person that's been employed to do that. But that's just my opinion.
Well, it was good that our local area received an award, wasn't it?
Positive.
Yeah.
Right, moving on. Broadmoor Trail, in Rick's absence. The RPA has been out and inspected the track. They were happy with it, and the grant money has been received on the Broadmoor Trail.
So that's on the
So it's on the payments to be
reimbursed, yeah.
We have to do as part of the
That's where we're putting them on.
on the start of the off-road footpath.
Back to school.
No, yeah.
Just up from the school, sorry, yeah. Right.
Who's paying for that?
Wild Ennerdale.
What was it?
I can't remember that coming in.
They agreed to do it at some point earlier on.
Yeah.
And they,
Did they agree or we agree? It wasn't in our contract, was it?
It was in our contract. We've got to be able to account for how many people use it. We've got to be able to prove. So they're working with us to pay, they're putting the people counters in to share the data.
We'll have to change the back.
Download it.
Data that comes that you can download with an So it will give us information on how many people are using the pack and what have you. And I think there was more than one. There was one at the
They're going to
start
put
and
one up in Broadmoor itself,
one
aren't
in
they?
Broadmoor as well. So we can see which routes, whether people turn right at Braemar or go through the water.
Drive some people.
They're going to put it at a height, unfortunately, Richard. I did suggest that if we're low on numbers, we can put some shape up the path, but yeah. But we have got the school children going to forestry school every week, so that should keep our numbers up. there's nothing else on the Broadmoor Village enhancement, Kevin?
Yeah, well, nothing which is happening. So we're just making that a new vehicle in the park. The seats are supposed to be delivered any time now from Copeland. We've been waiting obviously on time for that. We've now got written permission from United Utilities for the seats to go onto the off-road track. And Forestry England are going to put the basic in for them. That's, again, everybody's off at the moment. There's not big work about.
Seats, the ones that were paying for through the parish council's coffers,
Yes.
they weren't to go on the forestry pass. That was.
It was in a meeting that we discussed for the Broadmoor Trail.
In there, there's the backless benches.
The Broadmoor Trail was in the discussion with me and Rick. And we were to give grant money to pay for them seats on there. The seats that if that's paid for by the parish community, we would put them in the village for the community, and they were to go in the park in other areas within the village.
There's one coming into the park from Copeland.
I'm just saying that's what was agreed.
Yeah.
This is a grant that was to pay for the ones on the path.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It was, what was the lady's name?
I think it was
Jenny Brumby, and Jenny Brumby's wasn't to go on the path. They came out.
Yeah.
And they identified where the bench used to be by the school to replace that bench, and one into Bridge Park.
So that's the grant money.
It's not
It isn't grant money.
No, it's no grant money.
It was the back.
They just had some refurbished
So the ones that
benches.
you and Dan were going to pick up, and then they didn't get picked up, and they're the ones that's now. But we didn't get any of them grants.
No, they were too late for them grants. There was no money there.
Welcome back fund, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jenny's actually left now. So.
I thought they were the ones that were supposed to be used on the path.
No, because it was backless ones they wanted on the
Yeah.
path. It was discussed in the meeting. It was backless ones on the path and a backed one right on the very
Because the
top.
ones with the back are in the village, whereas, you know.
In the sun, yeah.
I'm going to see opposite class, where there used to be one in the village.
Yeah. Where the John Hine bench used to be.
I just think I see that reminded me. I think the place stuck on that page or other times.
Yeah.
About time. Everything's so slow though. We've been waiting how long now? 9 months anyway.
Yeah, quite a while now.
And we had one on a good note. We've had some volunteers sorting out the tubes. See one across there.
Yeah, they've been prepared for winter, haven't they?
Prepared for winter, and have you've put daffodil bulbs in there for the spring? Yeah. So it's nice to see people volunteering and helping.
And then
out.
plants were actually donated by the people of the village.
Yeah. So I think we
there's
need
been no
to
cost to the parish
organise
council. So.
We could do with organising another weekend.
Mm.
Yeah. So maybe we can do that and put it on the website.
Yep.
So if anybody wants to volunteer to help, or if anybody's got any friends, I have them. Somebody might have, you can come and help.
Highways issues. Dan, you used to keep the spreadsheet for this. The spreadsheet's never come over, so we don't vote on it.
It's not been updated, nothing raised on anything, I'm not really seen anything. The only issues that I've seen with highways, and it was still getting flooding from Hazelholme, just before.
It's by Richard Maxwell Field.
Richard Maxwell Field there, and you've got the one just round the corner, just before you get to
low water side,
because that comes out of there, and then you get round the corner at that culvert as well. When we had that that rush of water, there was still 6 to 8 inches deep, and there was still 10, 20, 30, 40 metres long.
Yeah.
The issues are still there.
Still there.
And we haven't, like I said, there was some money in there after for doing some of that work a while back.
£21,000, and then they've reduced it to less than that last time we heard.
And then we've heard nothing back to actually fix it.
The problem is, each one of them flooding areas, there's a culvert that goes under the road below, and they're all chock-a-block. Highways are aware of it, and they just
They had committed
Second
to
of
doing
August,
each
well,
year.
last week.
I know this story is over
I don't know. It was when, what, Kevin,
Yeah.
he was about to do it when he retired, and the rest of them were just,
Right, if you can forward me on the reference numbers, I'll try and do it.
You've got field gutters that's overflowing as well, they've then adding to the ruts on the road. There is gutters along there that's full as well, inside fields. So.
On that long stretch,
Yeah.
on the right hand side.
Yeah, and that's where it's coming over on that corner and just trickling down the road, and it's falling in the middle.
Because of culverts, it's a bit of a hole in it.
Yeah. But the trouble is that culvert that comes underneath comes into the corner of one of our fields, and then it goes down a bit that's actually blocked. Yeah, but it's in a wildlife bit that way. It's clear under the road. It's when it hits the field side before the river. Yeah, it's clear under the road. The road. It will be down to the landowner. It's not mine. Our bit's clear in the corner, but then once it gets through that, there's like a sluice gate. Once it's through that, it's blocked. We can try, but it would have to come from the parish council. Couldn't
Does
fill
he
it.
actually have a team that goes around cleaning the pool?
Yes,
Yeah.
Does it?
as which did I have the impression it's had been sold.
Well, I'll give you an example for this team that goes around doing culverts. Last week I phoned up and reported the block culvert in my garden, and then they said, well, we've sorted it. 2 days later they sorted it, it was great. The bridge next to the Fox and Hounds is clear. That was the answer.
Different culvert.
The problem you've got when you check the culverts, they come in and put the water
Your
on.
speechless,
They suck them out and they push the water in, and that's it. They sort of the culvert, but they don't look at the access from the culvert, what's causing the block. And that's a different team. So then they feed back, we play the culvert, and that man kicks it off, it's done. And that's what's
Probably we need to resolve the issue, what's making the flood rather than
Yeah, because it is actually eating the road away down the sides.
It's been reactive to it.
It's eating the road away.
Cameras down and they've said the block, and then they said the blame and United Utilities Commission getting authority to go up. You have the authority to go on because it's a highway pipe, so they have that authority, they don't need that permission. But they just think well and fall off the bloody truckers.
Yeah.
You know.
Forward those reference numbers on, I'll share some.
If Dan give us a reference, we
Figuring
could.
where
Yeah.
depending then the forcing into this round of schools, haven't they, over the last few months and all.
Yes,
That'll be
the
nice.
historic
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, it'll look nice.
Are you going to keep on with the highways then, Dan, or are you handing it over? What do you want to do?
Depending on what we're going to discuss now next year,
The spreadsheet's never come over it, so it needs. If it's handing over, we need the spreadsheet back. Yeah, Daniel's stated in there's a minute that says Daniel's. The highways was yours and Daniel was updating the spreadsheet. Yeah, but that isn't populated. It's populated on an individual person's thing. So we've created the one for the parish council, but because the parish council hasn't put any of them in, if there's any of them on the spreadsheet that's still open, they're not on the parish council, so we can't follow them up.
Yeah, and the email's been done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see
yeah.
on a scale for the whole of the division, if I can get them to do that down in terms of the
Yeah.
council, I'll pick that up.
That'd be great, yeah.
Because I've put ones in personally. Sorry.
It's supposed to chairman report that was your account.
Yeah, it hasn't there.
I'll feed that.
Which is why this rule, that sheet was created, because
But
individuals
it's-
putting things about, it never really.
Yeah.
So if we get that back onto one, that's great.
But
When we were spotting things when we were doing the village enhancement, I put them through on my own name.
Yeah.
And some of them have been done, some of them haven't. The S on the slow still hasn't been painted. If you can follow that one up, Arthur. Before the bridge. It's been resurfaced and they've took the S out. So it now just says low.
low bridge.
It's been reported, but there is a highway ticket in for it. Yeah.
So I don't know whether they've been done or not, checked. So it's just make sure that with the height of the trees and them being under the 5 metres, whether that's going to start causing a bit of debris on the roads as well.
There was identified trees within the village that got down,
Ash diver.
Ash Diver, And there was a list opposite the bungalows, the dangerous and the hedge there. There's a list that's on highways land which they said they were going to cut. That was when Kevin was here. They were structured to come and do the work, and then they failed to do it, and it's gone.
Again, if I can put my name on
The dangerous, that's what's coming up that side, very dangerous.
Have you got a copy of that list, Richard, that you and Dan created? Of the overhang?
They were raised on
the him, so they'll be on Dan's spreadsheet.
There was a meeting behind this,
Yeah, you do, yeah.
So it was all, I'll take the email to the parish council to everybody. There was a meeting, it was dialogue, and they agreed to do it, and then.
While we're talking about highways, hedge cutting, Richard, are you in liaison with Stuart for the hedges this year? I wasn't taking over the highways, it was with Dan and you. Right, then can I have a list of the hedges that require cutting for? Well, can you send a list of the hedges that you normally get cut?
Stuart will know what he normally cuts.
Yeah, Stuart's got a list, he knows what he's doing.
Right, okay.
It's all the parish council boundaries, the hedges right up to the fell, to Core Fell. The ones in the village, you do the church ones. They might need to consider a few others that would help. But it's the ones that aren't the parish councils that's the issue. You've now got, when I went up the other, just this morning, I went by Broadmoor, forestry one coming in. All them fields up that side coming in, and all the landowners going up. Obviously the footpaths are coming in, they're on the road verge.
It's only just started the hedge cutting season for landowners, isn't it? So
They're being cut last year, then we cut over last summer, that's 3-4 years. The forestry got pulled up and told by highways to cut them, and then they just left it to come back.
have you got track of that, Arthur, where highways have been involved in the hedges?
The best way to probably create a new highways with Neil, wasn't it?
I did it with Neil, and I did it with Kevin. And Kevin was over there and sent all the letters out, so you'll have to go through that process. If you've got the right to all them landowners, then it needs to go in the parish council.
So can we have the historic records back into the There must have been some historic records, Richard.
No, there isn't.
So
It was all done through highways, because it's data protection and everything else.
but you're saying that there was letters wrote from the parish council?
The letters will come from the county council.
Yes.
Right.
To the
Yes, that's what happened.
So is it the county council's responsibility to look at these hedges? So they should come out and they should. So we just basically asking county council for an audit of the hedges in Ennerdale. Yeah, that's the.
We'll just stick them on and report them.
Yeah. If it's county council's hedges to deal with, then
these are private individuals' hedges.
But
You can put a courtesy thing out on the website, on
Facebook,
it's hedge cut. It's just a bit of a
Hedge cut season.
A nudge.
yeah.
So you just remind them, and then you go to the notice.
Because you've got to politely ask people and remind them. And then
Before you get the big stick
then,
and chase them.
Well, they've got till March, haven't they?
Sorry?
They've got till March to cut hedges. So at which point were you jumping in to say that you haven't cut the hedge?
When you jump in, they're not complying with the highway requirements.
Some of the hedges are all.
Yeah, but if you've got, what I'm saying is if farmers have got a period of September till March to cut a hedge.
But if that hedge is included on the highway by
So when, that's what I'm asking, when do you intervene and say you haven't cut your hedge by the October, by November, December?
There's specific requirements. You're not having
Some of the yeah, but
by half a metre or having the highway by a metre or something being at least 5 metres from the parish where. So there's constraints that highways can put a notice on its own.
But I think we need to leave that to the highways. We don't need to give them.
No. We
Yeah.
complain to us.
All we do is we say
We've got plenty to talk about without having to worry about somebody getting a hedge cut. The highways can sort that out if it's a problem.
I think
More
we
of a-
politely ask the residents, hedge cut season. If your hedge is enclosed on the road, would you consider?
we'll move it to November's agenda then.
Well,
I propose we move it to November's agenda and go through it
I
there.
can just put it on the website.
Yeah.
Just a nudge.
Yeah,
polite
but we're still going to
nudge,
have to look at Stuart.
I think.
So,
Yeah, okay.
Everything
Sounds
with
reasonable.
any hedges, and then we'll have a reminder in each meeting to see whether we need to.
Are you offering to go and look around with the hedges done?
I don't think we need to.
No, but come November, we're going to need somebody to go and look at hedges.
Otherwise, we'll waste no time talking about it.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll be going back around this circle in November.
Let's have the case.
Yeah, but and what I'm saying is, come November,
And then it's on the minutes.
in November, we're going to go around in circles of who's going to look at these hedges.
We're going to discuss it in November.
Right, we'll put it on November's thing. Right. Okay. Agenda item 8, public participation. Ian.
Yes, knowing that you've only got a short time to put it, you know how many people want to make.
Well, we're eating into it now, Mr. Stewart. So if
I've had, there are 2 hands up so far, 3, 4, 5. There you go.
Ian.
Right, the Lily Hall to Braemar and Braemar to Sawdust Line footpaths. However, nice looking roses down to pay for it. But the last time I was there, still no signposts. All the people I've met on that this summer have been locals who know about it. We've had a whole summer of coast to coasters not knowing about it. So whose responsibility is it to put up the signposts? And is the parish council, if it's not their responsibility, going to give them a nudge?
Lake District National Park, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's the Essex National Park that's putting the signs up.
And they are
but it's
coming up.
upgrading to the National Trail. It's Rick that's got the answers on this one, so we need to.
So when they're doing it, I don't know.
No, there's documentation how to upgrade to a bridleway at the moment.
You get more people on the counters if they know to put it up on that screen.
My understanding is they've checked it. They said it's adoptable. So once it's adoptable, they should be putting the signs. I noticed they put 3 or 4 new ones up in the area, top of the road coming in there. And so once it's adopted, so maybe a sweet reminder would be that we have our signposts on our new account.
They'll probably be happier when they get the cheque back. And then
If you send them a sweet reminder, it would be helpful.
With the check.
yeah.
Because there is some the Jubilee Trail signs are coming as well, so through the national park, so probably we're going to do it all together.
Yeah.
The bridleway.
Okay.
Right, well, whatever it is.
Okay.
It won't be on anybody's maps.
Not yet.
Not yet, it's
So
not
they
now.
need to know it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ian. Walter?
No. Right. At a well-attended public meeting with Forestry England in St Mary's Church, Ennerdale Bridge on the 14th of April, a great deal of community frustration was expressed about the range of issues. A major frustration was the lack of clear information from the Forestry England about their plans. Now, I've gone along, and most of the residents will know that I've knocked on your door, and I've done a survey. And one of the questions in the survey that I've done was, how effective do you think Wild Ennerdale have been in engaging the community and their plans overall? Now, the percentage I got people of 95% participation within it. Within that 95%, the outcome was that 63.81% answered that it was very poor or poor. And then 15.24% said it was good or very good. Now there's clear proof to you as a resident and as the parish who's talking through this survey to you, the electors, that they are not happy with the engagement of what Forestry Commission is doing. So Sandra, they might be telling you that they are doing proper engagement, they're not. I went to all 3 of their engagements, starting from 11 o'clock at morning till 7 o'clock at night. I was at all 3 of them, right? In those 3, they have the opportunity to speak to 37,144 residents. The total of people that came to that was 20. There was 12 people at the Cleaton work. Out of the 12, there was 9 against the beavers. There was 3 for it. At the Egremont one, there was 8 people. 6 people were against the beavers. 3 people was for it. At the Whitehaven one, there was nobody. Now they claim to say that they've been ambushed. They were not ambushed. What they were done is they were given a fair opportunity to engage with the people. The people who came, they engaged with them. Whatever happened in there, I've asked them a question afterwards what their feeling was with it. And they're quick to say that it was that they didn't have staff due to COVID to engage with the people who is the most important, which is Ennerdale Bridge, who's going to be affected with it. Now, the public thing was to say that they apparently didn't have the staff. But as rumours that's been said that they felt that they were being ambushed with their questions. Now, how is that proper engagement? Now, Kevin May, the director of Forestry England, in that meeting said that he'll go away and he'll change his ways. This is the same Kevin May who didn't even know what a marsh artillery is, right? So he hasn't changed. And now on point number 11, I have to say that I strongly object to accepting the Forestry England's recommendation on engagement methods. And then also, I just want to say that really, I'm a bit disappointed that the whole committee is being elected by the parish council, by the parish. Now, I've knocked on about 161 doors, roughly. I've got the numbers. And they've said that they haven't seen them and that there's always in-house fighting. Really, as a council, I'm asking you as a resident to start considering the parish. Start thinking about Ennerdale and Kinnyside and start acting. And what this council needs to do is start acting against the organisations that's out there, i.e. the whole of the wild Ennerdale stewardship, and start looking at your residents who's looking at you as a voice. Because you, as the voice, are not representing us as the residents. And I'm really disappointed. And I can tell you now that there's a hell of a lot of residents that are disappointed in the council.
Right.
I'm not showing figures, I'm telling to you as a whole group.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Walter.
And I've got a suggestion for you too. My suggestion is on the wood. Now, on the wood that you have, it is your land. It's the parish's land. So that means it's not just you as a council, it's all of our residents. Now, if the Forestry Commission is not prepared to give you even a penny, it's disgusting, right? Because they injected the trees across Low Gillifway by hand, and they paid a company for 6 months to inject them 3 times over to leave them standing. Now, we at Low Gillifway have a license to actually use the wood, the infected wood. Now, my suggestion to you is, instead of just standing back and letting them do what they want, they have to fell those trees, they have to stack them up. Now, at Low Gillifway, I'm making you an offer. We are making you an offer. We'll pay you £500 for all the wood that's there.
Leave it stacked, we'll collect it.
They leave it stacked, we'll collect it, we'll pay for the haulage, which is from there 2 hours. We've got a license for that. Don't roll over from a big organisation. That £500 needs to come to the parish. For you to accept as a council that they can just have that is absolutely diabolical.
I'm going to cut you short, Walter, just because of time.
Yeah,
And we've got so many hands.
What was the percentage of people that were against?
The percentage of people that was against was 75%, and 25%
Against
was
what?
for an engagement. Are you talking about the engagement?
We have that recorded in the minutes.
I don't know, I'm not quite sure what, 75% of...
On the 3 engagements, public engagement, which was at Cleatonworth, at Egerman and at Whitehaven, the total of people that attended was 20. Out of that, 15 was against the beavers and 5 was for the beavers, thus giving you 75% against and 25% against. Now, I was personally there.
It's difficult to use them figures when there's so many online ones as well, though, because you can't.
But also that's far too small a sample to be...
Yeah, but I know myself, I didn't go to Clayton because I did the online.
It's having the appropriate level of engagement at the right time to allow everyone to go. It's think this is probably through the, we're eating to this time.
Yeah,
and
we
we've been
are eating
discussing
public
it.
participation time right now.
Let's move on.
Sandra, but when they say they did ambush, I'm a resident, I'm a father. I am here worried about this parish, right? So I have the right to be there and keep them accountable. They turned around and said.
I'm sorry, Walter, but there is other people that wish to. We're literally 3 minutes left.
You did say that you felt that they felt that they were ambushed.
Well, I think that might be what they felt, but they didn't actually say it.
What you understand, Sandra, is people were standing outside within the rooms, not inside. There'll be a total different space.
Not in all of them.
Yes. 3 of the ones that they talked about, people were outside.
Did you attend them, Jane?
No, I've just seen the.
What was there all day?
I was there from 11 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night.
Please
So
know
I
that
said,
why they-
But you were inside as well.
No, we were outside.
You were outside,
their venue.
Okay, fine.
Right?
It just wasn't what I understood from the report. That's all.
Well,
So,
that's why I think
Right, with 2 minutes left on public participation. One person left to speak. Mrs. Braddon.
In regard to agenda item number 11, I'd like to strongly object to the fact that England's proposed consultation for the Beaver Instruction Project. The use of citizen space, along with some locally distributed paper copies, is totally inadequate for something that could be this significant to the Valley and the wider West Cumbria community. It does not provide any opportunity for community discussion or debate. I also strongly object to the proposal that this council accepts this dual approach, which I think is the recommendation in item 11, as it's clearly against the views of the local community, and Walter's just expressed those, and those that were strongly voiced at the April public meeting. I have written a slightly longer statement, and I've sent that to.
I've shared that with all the.
Thank you.
Helen, quick one.
Ellen, for the last one.
Like others, I'm objecting to the agenda item 11 on consultation. The objection is against accepting Forestry England's use of citizen space for consultation for the beaver introduction. And given the strength of feelings expressed at the public meeting on the 14th of April, quite honestly, I'm astounded that that recommendation would appear in the council. Citizen space is flawed from a number of perspectives. If anybody's not familiar with it, it's just a website where you can put comments. It's not a proper engagement process. It involves the community in a dialogue before reaching a decision. It doesn't differentiate the views of the community affected, us, from the plethora of other groups nationwide who have got a vested interest sometimes in the outcome. In other words, we love the beaver, so we want beaver. Interpretation of the products out of citizen space is done by those who put it online.
Mr. Chair, can I just cut you short and just ask one simple question? If we don't have citizenship base and the hard copy for members of the public who can't access technology, what is the proposal that we can take back to Forestry England? It's just we are running. So rather.
There's no criticism, there has been criticism of other consultations done by DEFRA using citizen space, including the recent one on genetic technologies. Forestry Commission have got a published toolbox of 60 different techniques for public engagement.
So if you've looked at that toolbox,
can you send us the toolbox then?
Ranging from workshops to individual engagement, all sorts of things. The council needs to send a clear rejection of that consultation process back to Forestry England and invite them to come forward with engagements that matter. They know how to engage. And the council should be saying to them, we don't accept your proposal, citizen space. I'm happy to collaborate with you on here's some other ideas about how collaboration can take place. I am aware that other people have proposed that the local government at some level, the parish or above, should run their own engagement process and produce a recommendation that goes back to Forestry England instead of relying on the guy asking, who's got the best interest asking the exact question, why don't you do it yourselves? I fully support that. It needs to be recognised in this. It's not just an Ennerdale situation. It impacts the whole of the communities in West London and beyond.
Mr. Stewart, can I just stop you because we are running out of time? But can I just say, if you can, 2 seconds, Nancy, if you can forward the toolbox that you found,
I'm not going to send you the toolbox.
then if we've got no proposals to go back with,
No, hear me out. What the parish council should be doing is talking to, not just me, but to other members of this community and saying, what do you think is the right thing to do in the consultation process? The first step needs to be to send a message back to Forestry England that this isn't good enough.
so if we can't go back to Forestry England with any other proposals, and we're now telling them we don't want the hard copy, we are going to stop the people who cannot use, if they enforce a citizen space on us, Richard.
Ignore the differentiation between websites and paper copies. That's a second order issue.
In the meeting on the 14th, there were no proposals came forward for what to do. And in fact, Kevin May asked on 3 or 4 occasions, tell me what you want, tell me what you want.
It's his job. You have a room full of people. My suggestion is you ask this room full of people whether they would like the parish council to accept the recommendation of number 11.
And then.
What you just said, Jane, is totally untrue. Kevin May said, because I raised these requests to him, I will send you the proposals that we're going to use, and then to the parish council, then you can consult with the community about whether they're acceptable.
That was also reiterated in the 17th of May, and not one person questioned those minutes where it said that Kevin May had asked 3 or 4 times in that meeting on the 14th of April, tell me what you want. He says, I know you don't want this. In that meeting, it was suggested that the community group that was being set up could ask the local people what they wanted. And instead, I was told at that meeting that they know what they have, and that I should write to Forestry England and ask them what they proposed. So this was proposed by Kevin May on the 22nd of July. He said that he proposed citizen space, but for the people who couldn't connect that way, he would also do a paper version. I forwarded that email to all the councillors on the 22nd of July, and only one councillor has come back and made any comment about it whatsoever. And that's Councillor Sharp, who said to me, probably the best locations for them, if they're going to do hard copies, would be the Gather, the Fox and the Shepherds. Yeah.
I remember just all here because there was a proposal to Kevin May, and he tried to ignore it, and it was what the NFU, the National Farmers Union, had a proposal.
Right, not from the council. No.
Yes. No. And we proposed that to him, and he said he would consider that.
Who proposed it?
Didn't get proposed from the council.
National Farmers Union has met this proposal because the system that they use is corrupt, it's bent and twisted, and the National Farmers Union has recognised this and they put it forward to the government. And Kevin May, on that night, I put that proposal to him to adopt that, but the NFU was put to the government while this consultation goes on, was for Kevin May to adopt that. So why don't we look at what the NFU and what the public are asking us? Listen,
we're quite happy to go back and ask for something else.
But we need something else.
We need somebody to tell us what they want.
That's their job, that's Forestry England.
So we're back there.
They have a ton of things that they can use. All you need to write and say, as a parish, we are totally opposed to citizen space. We want you to use some of your other tools to engage with the community. It needs to be a full and frank engagement where a discussion can be held with businesses that are likely to be affected, with homeowners that are likely to be affected, with people that walk down the village. They have to be prepared to answer questions. They don't want to answer questions. They didn't tell Sandra they were putting a beaver fence up because they don't want to tell people. They want to hide from the conflict. They don't want the conflict. It's easier to do it on citizen space because they can't have they don't need the conflict. They should be engaging in full discussions with the community, and that's your community, your parish. That is what we are requesting that you tell them.
Okay.
And also,
Right,
one of
moving
the
on.
questions was, if we asked them, they said, "What do you want from us?" And we said, "Honesty." And that's not what they're giving.
So,
They're not giving honesty.
Just we've got 25 people in this room, and the one that they're
We've got
proposing,
10 minutes
like
left.
25 people walking there. There's people that can't afford, they come up in every day, they're going to pay this £8 a day, they're going to chat, they don't care. They have a right to be considered. They should be having a meaningful setup in maybe Whitehaven Civic Hall that's big enough to set this, and a public consultation with the full councils and county councils there, Kevin Mayor there and another man here, and debating this like it just does happen on the television. That's what they're asking for, and that's not unreasonable.
And what do we do if the turn and say no?
right, so
That's up to them.
Yeah, but we've got to look past it, Richard.
We've got to look at and say no to what's been proposed.
Right, so I put forward and we've been accepted to set up an AGM, and there's 2 items on there, one for considering the 4th and one's conference in the Valley Plan. We can, when discussing this, be first to do something until that point and allow further information to be brought forward to provide a response. Listening to the public, and then, I know we're talking about things now, but when we get to that point, I'm going to propose that. But we have got other meetings to be set up that are going to
Yeah, set up. Ready to go.
Sandra's been to them meetings, she's not there for the full meeting.
I've only been to one.
Exactly. But you've got to meet Sandra, you're not allowed to stop there for the full meeting. And this is what happens, it's the Parish Commission, it's a government body.
Can I ask that we move on, Richard? The night is ticking on.
Government body, it's not confidential.
I didn't say it was confidential. The night's moving on, it's 8:20, and we're trying to get through the rest of this.
They're not being very trusting.
So we'll pick this up on Friday and next Tuesday's meetings. Right.
Can I just say that that's what I talked about on wood,
Yeah, what we'll need to do, Walter, because we've already made the decision and minuted the decision to say that they can have the wood, what we'll have to do is I need at least 50% of, because it's within 6 months, I need at least 50% of the councillors to agree to revisit this. So, are we revisiting letting the Forestry England have the wood and selling?
It was something we were asking for, it wasn't assumed we were going to get it.
It's a suggestion we made in the meeting.
Because the decision was within the last 6 months. To revisit the decision, 50% of the councillors have to sign, a bit how you do when you request an EGM. You have to sign to say you want to go back and revisit this motion, and we'll discuss it again. Now you have to do it on a signed form. You need 50% here. But you just write the letter and say you want to revisit it. And what I just need is where are we? Because we're 7. I need 4 signatures on it. So 4 of you need to sign to say you want to look at that motion again.
There's lots happening in Scotland that doesn't happen in England though, Richard.
You've got to understand, Northumberland in Scotland. Northumberland in Scotland is run by Kevin Mayor as well as
Richard, can we agree to move on?
We need to move on now.
Agenda item 9.
Because I've listened to you all, I don't
Yeah,
understand. Firstly, you said that Forestry England won't pay for the DP, or the shortfall for the DP for Croasdale.
Yeah.
Well, the people of Croasdale really didn't want Forestry England to pay for it anyway.
Yeah.
There's £400 from the David Hughes Memorial Fund, and we have said if we raise the funds ourselves, will the parish council agree to take over the maintenance of it?
I sent you an email,
property next to me
we would have to take that over.
has bought the telephone box and readiness for that.
Yeah, but-
He needs assurance that the maintenance of that
Yeah.
DP will be
But-
taken over by.
There was an email
Jill,
sent to you,
I
Jill,
sent,
by
I
the
sent you
clerk,
an email, Jill. About,
and we haven't had a response to it.
yeah,
Did you send it to my work?
no, to your personal one. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
sent
we're
you
just
an
asking us
email
to check
asking
it.
for details so I can get it on the November agenda to be agreed. It's going to go on to be agreed. Don't worry. Let's move.
Richard, can we take it
It's
to
going to be
November?
agreed.
And apart from that, just to say that today there was a lot of movement of timber, not the timber, but low load of forestry activity. And I just showed the councillors photographs of a forest wagon reversing into my garden wall. And this is the issue that I've had with forestry for so long, yes, this morning.
But they've done that, they've still came back with this morning.
Which is why the other reason we need the DFID is because the road is constantly blocked by the timber wagons. And the kids were late to school this morning. I don't know whether that was to do with the forestry, the buses not getting through. It's just getting beyond a joke.
Have you got a registration number on that? Yay!
Did we get the driver's details on this? Did we get the driver's details?
No, we've got a registration number. They know who's driving their trucks.
Yeah, but
Did you leave his insurance details?
I didn't leave anything.
And you've got his registration number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he damage your wall?
But it was, there was obviously
He hasn't
a
damaged
low
it.
loader. Well, the wall's damaged anyway. It will be. The wall's getting damaged anyway. It's a dry stone wall.
can I ask you to email them to the council,
Yeah,
Jill?
if you can email it to me,
If you can
then
email them to the council.
I have the right person to send it on to. No, not.
You know, from what I see, forestry is just running roughshod over this valley and nobody's doing anything to prevent it.
Can I just update? We had a meeting and it was agreed with after chairing, in conjunction with the Forestry Commission's procedures and instructions, they were asked to fix their own instructions. That had said, it's in my head, that's amusing. That's what he stated. And we got into the meeting, and then it stated in the public meetings that he had commissioned off the parish council, off county highways, and off forestry, and we'd all agreed that they could transport these wagons.
Richard, can I ask you to do this on
This is going to be
Friday?
discussed on Friday,
It's
isn't
cutting into
it?
tonight's time, and we're not going to get through this agenda
We
if we
actually
keep
have-
talking about
We
Friday.
have 3 minutes left of this meeting now.
Again, we're not. I would really like to get Julian quoted, to be honest, before we have to call an end to this meeting. Agenda item 9, councillor applications. Julian, would you like to introduce yourself and let us know why you'd like to join us?
Yes, please, let us know why.
So I'm Julian Furs. I was born down the road by the Foxton House, not in the Foxton House. My family have a long association with Ennerdale. Clearly, not clearly, in 1987 I had a choice to make. Work at British DP Fuels and join the army. Well, you probably know which one I did. But I've returned, lucky enough to be able to return to Ennerdale, which I've had a close relationship, having lived here, been brought up here, gone to school here, and now resident here again, which I'm nice to say. So I thought it'd be very fitting that I contribute some of my effort back into the parish council, and I'm happy to do so. But I have to remark, notwithstanding any prejudice what's about to happen next, I'm a little bit surprised at the balance of effort to internal running versus representing the parish. If I am to be part of the parish council, it is your decision, that balance needs to be addressed.
Thank you, Julian. I'm now going to ask.
Have you got the paperwork to sign, Julie? No.
No, because it'll have to be in November meeting. Because that is our process. It has been our process for everybody that's been adopted on this council. It is our process, Richard. It happened to Nancy, it happened to Kevin, it happened to me, it happened to Sandra.
Yeah. Yeah. He can, but we've always been told that we had to stick. I did suggest putting a procedure in place for which I was attacked and told that I had to stick to exactly what we've always done. And what we've always done is basically people attended the first meeting and then were co-opted at the next meeting they attended. That's what's been publicised. That you're right, there is no legal reason not to be co-opted other than the fact that I have been told, and therefore that's the process that's been publicised. No, you didn't.
Can we go back to this? Can I ask for a councillor to nominate Julian for the position? And a seconder?
Yeah.
Dan?
Okay, so votes for.
Yeah.
So can I just finish this, Dan, please? Can I take a vote for co-opting Julian to the council? Yeah, it's unanimous, that's fine. Congratulations, Julian.
No reason why I can't bring it to the EGM on Friday. There you go. Yeah, because that's the next meeting officially. So. Yeah.
Yeah, you're invited.
Yeah. The one that was at.
Why were they never told about it?
Because it was cancelled.
Ah.
Hmm? Oh, did I not? Sorry.
The conversation.
Sorry, that'll be me.
Agenda item 10, complaint against Forestry England. To review the complaint submitted against Forestry England regarding the lack of consultation on timber transport routes, together with the actions taken since January, and determine if the complaint is now satisfied or if it needs to be pursued further. Yeah, in-depth conversation about this. Deferred till Friday.
And 11 we've already said to defer to Friday.
11's been deferred till Friday. Tuesday, sorry, yeah. It is Tuesday, yeah.
Friday and Tuesday.
Before that goes out, is there anything you want to amend on the Tuesday one, the second EGM?
Well, I've not looked at the motions yet, but
I'm just going to say work with Jane on the motions for that one before it actually gets published. Yeah, okay. Planning. Agenda item 12. The wildlife tower at Ennerdale Mill. They've added as an addition to the previous plans. So it's open for discussion.
They were talking about it.
The only thing I would say about it, the stones that was identified on the survey would be nice if they could use them to rebuild in the tower, so they're kept. No, well, there's been no objections from the actual village regarding the mill.
If you were an ecologist, you would say, put back together, put a roof on the mill, there's more wildlife in that.
Yeah, but they're not doing that.
No, just hang on. We weren't asked that. The facility's in 5 years after we...
What, the tower?
Yes.
No, what I read, they were going to build the tower, it might not have been that particular.
No, the one we judged on was just the demolition of the mill and they put the tower in after.
Well, I
think if they're building the tower, I think it'd be nice if they could retain the stones that was identified with the markings on, if we can ask for that to be done.
Why can't they do it with the mill? It's not that hard. There was an engineer's report 5 years ago stating it was stable, and so they manipulated that to pull it down. Take the house down, take the biggies down.
Yeah, but
There's
that's
more
not going to
wildlife in
happen
that
now.
building.
They've
That's
already
what-
demolished it. That's great. They are going to demolish it, and they've got permission to demolish it. So we're just worried about the tower. I'm quite happy with the tower. But you would like to put a suggestion?
I'd like to, yeah, because in that report they did identify a lot of stones that had markings on them, and it'd be nice if they could be put into the wildlife tower. So it returned.
Inside the old piggery.
So, was that how long the original application was?
That was the second that come in.
The issue is, it's an addition to after we discussed the last one.
Yeah, but we've already.
Which is why we're now discussing the wildlife tower.
Yeah, we need to build a tower. So the suggestion is that we add some of those stone, interesting stonework in the tower.
Within Natural England, there's money to pay for the renovation of historic buildings.
But they're not going to do that, Richard. That's obviously not going to do that. So this is a.
We've already money within Natural England.
What was our response?
To restore.
They're not going to do that. They're not knocking it down.
No, they want to knock it down. Let me bear with this. They want to knock it down. No.
Well, there's nobody in the village has responded with a objection to knocking the mill down or any part of it.
We said to keep as much as we could.
No, we said to keep the original footings.
No, we said. And part of that would be to keep it in the footprint it is, because the old millstone's still in there, the race is still there, the outer building, it's built better than anything you can build today. It's only 2.5 foot wide. It's as good as what Eglinton Castle. There's more standard than what there is at Eglinton Castle. So you've got all that wildlife within that limestone and everything else. What are we doing? Pulling something down? That's historic. We could ask them, they've got the funding to put something back there, where in place of what they want to do there, with a bit more consideration.
But we've already debated this one and sent our reply.
We didn't debate the actual, this came in after we debated.
Yeah, which is why we're discussing the wildlife tower now, not the rest of the demolition.
That's the whole chain.
Which is also what Sarah's saying, which is use some of the old stones to rebuild the new tower. Inside where the old piggeries were, I believe, yeah. Yeah.
Basically, what I'm saying, the genetics of them spiders and fleas and flies that's in that building is thousands of years old.
We've previously said.
If you're looking at an ecologist side, you would keep the middle there and anything manoeuvre that.
What we previously said was we asked for as many of the original historic features of the mill as possible to be retained, including but not limited to the date stone, the mill wheel and the bridge. We were keen to see the walls retained to a reasonable height rather than taken down to ground level. The council questioned the need to close the public footpath during the work. This is well-used footpath, that has been addressed now. The council asked if they could, that they are consulted again when more detailed plans are submitted. So we've got another detailed plan. They've come back at us with the wildlife tower.
The last time we used to talk because of the historic part of the building, the board.
We told them last time we had no objections to them flattening the mill. So
I think that was about 5 years ago, wasn't it, or something, when it was in a bit better
state.
And they took it off.
Yeah. Well, they've waited till it's fell down a bit more, and now they come back and say we want to demolish it now. But fact is, yeah, like as Dan says, we passed that decision. We already debated that, and we've already responded. All we can respond on now is the wildlife tower. Yeah.
Or do we want the wildlife tower built in with the existing buildings that's there, the mill, as part of it? That's the question.
It's to be built on the site of the piggeries, which is where the stones are that we're talking about, isn't it?
Is it within a metre or so of the building?
It's behind the main building.
They've got an open checkpoint to do this. Believe me, they've got an open checkpoint. You want to ask me why I know? You want to ask me?
No.
I was asked to go and take over the mill, and I would have been given an open check route to renovate the mill because Natural England, because of its historic value, would have paid for that. Well, that stance from Natural England won't have changed, but the stance from the forestry and you won't be paying for that. So the funding is still there to do that. That's what they wanted to do, to keep the mill. Then, that was only 5 or 6 years ago.
Right.
Julian?
Is there any reason why the decision on the wildlife tower can't be deferred until
because we're against the clock.
Until the future of the mill is documented?
They've already applied to demolish the mill. So now they've come with the proposal of a wildlife tower in place, because obviously there's going to be no habitats.
The council made a request on it once that was retained, but that hasn't been replied to.
It hasn't been replied to.
So can you not defer the wildlife tower agreement until they confirm?
When did we have to respond by this wildlife tower, Jen? It must be awfully close.
I think we're probably already gone, actually.
It's passed, I think, the response.
Is it in there anyway?
No.
The suggestion would like to national park and that's when they need to know, but we haven't.
We could.
I'm assuming we've had our time by now.
I think we probably are.
Yeah, for the original going in, yeah. Because nobody responded on email. It went to councils and not.
The original date, even though they put additional information on the planning and have the extended the original. So really, that's what I'm saying. So if they put further information.
But we got a new date for the wildlife tower, but it wasn't the original date. We got a new date given when we got the wildlife tower one through. Yeah. Yeah. But when we got the notification of the wildlife tower, we got a new date to respond by. That's what James was looking for now. I think it's passed.
Go on.
5th of August.
Nobody from the village wrote in. How do folk from the village? I know I was at the meeting. I didn't write in because we also had a planning thing at the same time. So I felt I'll just keep quiet. But how do folk in the village know that the mill was being demolished? Because we used to get, well, once we had the little.
There should be signs up down by the mill.
Yeah, so there's the sign right down on the gate.
You've got to look once a week on the Lake District National Park.
The consultation we had over the mill last time, United Utilities promised the Parish Council they would have future consultation and work with the Parish Council on what the development of the mill would be. But as you can see, there's been no correspondence. They don't care. They just do what they want to do.
If they're knocking the mill down, I want them to build a wildlife tower.
Yeah.
That's the answer to that question from me.
But it's the issue where they haven't had any correspondence.
I'm not really.
So the question is, do we agree to the wildlife tower or don't we agree to the wildlife tower?
No.
And they can only build it obviously after the other's been demolished anyway, so one can only follow the other. So I take your point on the waiting until we find out what happens with the demolition. But if the demolition's not granted, they can't do the tower anyway. So.
If they look on the website.
All on our website.
It's on the National Parks website.
And on the Parish Council, I've shared a load of it.
It's not on ours. It's not. Ours is not. I know.
I want them to build a wildlife tower.
So, can we take a vote on who's in favour of the tower? Dan?
I'm in favour of something. Like I say,
The proposal in front of us is the wildlife tower, so it's either a yes or no on the wildlife tower, and then if we could say that we could say we agree with the wildlife tower or we don't, but please reiterate our previous points. Living there to start.
Bats and owls and God knows what.
I think that
that's where I come from.
Yeah, I think it's on the back of the bat survey that they've come with the wildlife tower.
Do you want to pick up?
I think when I've read it, the tower is going to be there.
Do you want to pick up the point that Sarah and Kevin have made about including some of the original stone if they can?
Not the mill down, there's more wildlife going there that will go over. You build the tower first to take the wildlife.
Well, no doubt these ecologists have got it in hand.
Yeah, but that's, I'm speaking now, and normally colleges would say you'd have to build the facility. If you were moving the vats, you'd have to build the facilities for them to move to. So when you demolish the mill, you haven't got the tower.
Well, I'm assuming that we'll have to do
on.
that, and the ecologist will be proper ecologist.
No.
Well, some of the stones were actually on the figures, weren't they, in the report?
Yeah, they are. That's where the interesting stones are on the figures.
So
Stone doesn't hold that. Doesn't hold.
No, but the tower will.
The tower will.
I would like to vote for it.
So, in favour of the tower? Nancy, Kevin? Dan, are you in favour of the tower?
Tower, but it's having the integration of the old building with the new one.
So if we put in about the stones into our letter?
Say that you'd like to see some of the original stonework.
The features that's there now.
It already says that.
It already says
Is
that.
it?
Talking about things that are really,
So it's there.
Okay.
I beg your pardon?
Sorry, it says in the email, we're proposing to use stones from the building.
That's all right.
Yeah, but if we ask for the certain stones that's actually been identified in the report, that's got the markings on them, it saves them disappearing. It keeps the history there to an extent.
Yeah, but we're not voting for stones. We don't have any.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Happy with that one. Longmoor Bridge. Richard, Dan, are you leaving the room for this one?
No? Don't plan issue.
Doesn't matter.
It's still correspondence that
Yeah.
you've got a declared interest in.
You only need to ask me why, and all the questions they can, so.
So you're refusing. Can we have it made? Yes. You've already declared your interest.
Yeah.
You thought it was a balancing information, or it's not. You don't own it, you don't have to.
Been involved though.
No, you haven't. You haven't
No,
been
no,
involved.
no, we don't. I can give you context as to if you want to have considerations. If you want me to, before I leave the room, and ask some questions now.
No.
Sorry, Dan.
No.
Yeah.
Go. Richard, are you leaving with that?
Tony, I'm not leaving it.
Can we have it made that Richard's refused to leave
Yes, that's
on
fine.
on a pecuniary interest? Okay. Thank you, Dan. We've had some letters of concern and complaint that's come into the council. Four's been received. I propose that we just forward them on to the relevant bodies for them to deal with. Send them copies of each to Natural England, Environment Agency, who else, Richard, what you'd need them for? Rivers Trust. Yeah.
Would you like to
Propose
read
that?
correspondence out? I think it's probably that, but I'd like to understand a bit.
But
Don't just talk about.
Weren't the anonymous phone calls you had done?
I haven't had any anonymous phone calls at all.
That's what you said.
No,
You had one phone call.
they wanted to remain anonymous. They were not anonymous to me. No. This person had been down to the bridge and came back with their comments to me. I know who this person is. They live in the village. They're not on the council. They are a genuine person. And they stated their comments to me. So that is not anonymous. But they feared retribution. So they did not want to be named.
Let's read all the letters out.
Well, Councillor Sharp has just suggested. I mean, clearly none of us are planners or engineers or anything like that, so we're not really qualified to judge on whether there's a breach or not a breach. So Councillor Sharp, well, I have forwarded everything. I've forwarded everything. So Councillor Sharp, as you've proposed, you've made a proposal.
I've made a proposal, Richard. Even in your own email,
You shouldn't even be talking.
Richard, I'm not taking anything from you because it's an interest of your own. I'm afraid.
This is a public interest.
No.
It's not wrong.
So,
I want to give you proper advice.
the councillors that are not involved with the bridge, the proposal is, I'm ignoring you, Richard, because I am overruling you.
No, you're not.
Forward all the complaints to the relevant people and let them deal with it. If there's a bridge, they'll find the bridge. If there's not a bridge, then it's fine. No. Do you agree to forward all the emails that we've...
Right.
So we forward them to the relevant...
Do you know who the relevant bodies are? Right. Who does it go to? Hang on a minute. Who does all them letters go to?
I propose we send them to the National Park, Natural England, the Environment Agency and Rivers Trust.
Who goes to the protection of that river? No, it isn't. It goes to the police.
So,
it goes to a Majesty's Constabulary. So that's where you'll send your report and all your letters.
We've proposed to send them to the National Park, Natural England, Environment Agency and RT.
Please understand, the police are the overarching body for the protection of the pearl mussel and the master tree within installed the reportable persons to the constabulary.
It's carried. It's carried. Yeah. Would you like to invite Dan back in? Sandra, do you want to get Dan, please? No, Richard, I'm overruling you on this one. I'm overruling you, Richard. You haven't got a right to speak because it's a pecuniary interest. Richard, you can't speak on it because it is your interest. Thanks, Dan. The next item on the planning, Richard, I will ask you to desist from this. You cannot record anything on the pecuniary interest of your own. I'm denying it because you shouldn't even be in the room. No, you should not. Low Storebank Farm, sighting of a mobile home. It's a retrospective. No, Kevin?
Well, it needs to have a time limit on it.
Right, okay.
That time I would really be given back off the council. It isn't for us to give that.
Well, it's for us to say we
would like one.
I haven't got no objection. I have an objection if it hasn't got a time limit on it. So
we don't.
Well, it should do. But what if you don't?
Corporal council will stipulate.
They might think we're quite happy.
No, they will stipulate the time.
Well, that's my suggestion, that we have some sort of time limit. Ask for a time limit.
So what is temporary?
It doesn't mention temporary, has it?
Yeah, the application itself doesn't mention temporary.
Well, the house has been
renovated.
Yeah. When are they going to start doing the renovation? Might not start till 2028.
And it's agricultural occupancy.
Yeah.
Does it state that? Well, I can't remember stating that in the application.
There's no objections with that. If they've got that temporary clause and that's what it's taking.
So
no objection
subject to agricultural and temporary. Everyone's happy on that? Do you want to take a vote?
So we're agreeing the planning at Storebank on the grounds of agricultural occupancy being put on it.
And what about the agricultural?
Just temporary.
Still be agricultural occupancy, otherwise it could be a temporary holiday home.
No, it doesn't. I don't think agricultural is relevant.
Agricultural occupancy is when you put a new property on.
Just go to temporary.
If you're doing
So we're wanting, okay then, so we'll scrap that bit. Time limit. Yeah. So no objections on the grounds that Copeland decide on the temporary timescale.
Yeah, so no objections, subject to it being a temporary
sighting,
yeah.
Okay.
They do put that on.
Yeah, I know the deal.
Just making sure it does go on.
There's a lot of things that were used as stamp. I don't really
Last item on the planning is Low Storebank Farm, a request to support planting of broadleaf woodland from Eco Prospects. It's quite a while since we got this in, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I've no objection to it. But
Yeah,
no objections. Dan? Sandra? No, no objections to that one at all.
Yeah, because they were saying that they were asking for information, advice and feedback on the proposal. So I'll just write and say that, you know...
I'm quite happy with the proposal and no
Yeah.
food. Item 13, Code of Conduct, to adopt the new Code of Conduct that is uniform for all councillors in Cumbria. We've had this since July, so we really need to get it adopted. Vote to adopt? Yep. Richard? Are you happy to adopt it? Yeah. Unanimous then, Joe.
Yeah.
14, Internal Auditor, to approve the Internal Auditor's report and to agree the amendments of the 2021 figures as noted by the Internal Auditor. So first one, to approve the Internal Auditor's report. Anybody, any issues with it? Vote to approve it. Richard? Yeah, Sandra, you all right? Unanimous. And to agree the amendments to the 2020-2021 figures as noted by the Internal Auditor. Yeah. Everybody agree to that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, unanimous. Item. There's my two boxes. Item 15, Friends of the Lake District Common Land, to consider a response to the Friends of the Lake District who are asking for support in raising awareness and other actions as stated in the email that was attached. Anybody got any comments on that one?
If you look at the common land parishes around, maybe somewhere half the community are aware of parishes that have got common land in the valley. It's for getting support and raising awareness. There's an opportunity there to reduce some of the issues. And we could support them, they could support us basically.
Yeah, it's quite a good thing actually.
Yeah. So
in favour. Yeah.
So in the Lake District, I have the spokesman for the Open Space Society, which is registered with them. They speak on behalf of the Open Space Society, gives us the advice on common land. We own 10.5 hectares of land within Wild Ennerdale. 0.5 of a hectare is outside, just up at the bottom of How Hall. The Parish Commission has come by it, and been polite, and they said we don't understand what we found out that we do own it, and all the documentation and everything else, and it's still debating. So maybe these people would help us, and part of that needs to be that response that we own this, and they need to help us.
So we share the documents that we've got with Friends of the Lake
No,
District.
you're asking them to get involved within the acquisitions that the Forestry Commission have committed to breach the law.
We've got to go with engagement with them first,
Yeah.
get on board.
Then we'll have to share what documents we've got with them too.
You know, but you're asking them to as well.
Well, I think we've first off we respond to say yes, we'll support them and get that foot in the door.
You need to ask them.
Yeah. We'll get the foot in the door and respond when they respond.
Let's start the ball rolling with them and then.
Yeah. Yeah.
operate off our land. Parish England say that it's not our land. So you've got two government bodies that are both linked together.
When you come to start sharing documentation, all that will come to light.
Exactly.
So start the ball rolling with them, and then we'll get to the point where we're sharing documentation with them. So, right. So the full council agrees that we work on with the Friends of Lake District for common land. That's fine. Agenda item 16, emergency plan, to appoint a subcommittee of 3 to 4 councillors to gather information about the creation of an emergency plan and report it back to the council. At the moment we haven't got a plan, so...
This proposal is just to basically look into it, not to actually do it yet, to find out what's involved and bring the information back to the council.
Is anybody interested in doing that? Sandra? Kevin?
I can't commit to week after me.
Right, okay. Do you want to defer it till November? And people to... Yeah, but...
Yeah.
Well... And we need to know where the vulnerables are in the village as well. Where the vulnerable people are. That's what I'm saying, but Dan's saying then we're into the winter months and it's running out of time. Vice Chair isn't here to take a job at the moment. Rick is available for the Tuesday meeting, so we could stick it onto your AGM if you wish.
Decide whether
I think we should
about the creation, whether to create one or not is the first thing.
Yeah. Do we want to create an emergency plan? Copeland has emergency plans, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always think about the aircraft that fly over here. If one of them fell out of the sky.
We've been shooting before. We've been shooting for 5 days before.
Yeah.
My other concern, Linda, is my other personal concern is if we've got a lot of holiday lets, are they let? Are they empty? You don't want to be sending emergency services to properties that aren't going to be occupied. Take them away from where you need them.
In my survey, I found out who is on the table.
Right.
That's quite obvious.
Yeah.
When you go around the parish and find out everybody.
Ian?
You can't tell us
When
without it.
COVID struck, some of the communities in Cumbria that had a well-organised flood risk plan were able to use it to instantly address the COVID situation.
Yeah.
We did pretty well. We were a week ahead of Copeland here, but it was very much improvised at the last minute between the Gather and me and probably some parish councillors as well.
That's Julian.
So
but
you know, if you've got a plan, it's where you start.
Yeah. It's what needs to be created for the village.
I mean, it's also helpful. I mean,
is it something you'd be interested in helping with, Julian? Shall we look at it on Friday? We agree to set up a subcommittee.
I could give you the information of which ones are vulnerable houses too, but when I got, I had all the vulnerable houses, I knew exactly which ones lives in which house. So it could help.
Yeah.
I think we'd probably be better off just letter dropping everyone so it's officially come from the council, rather than taking data from a personal data. I'm
just worried about GDPR there.
The only question is to you then as a council. When it took me 4 weeks to try and speak to every single person, I even dropped letters in to try and get there. Now the big thing that you need to understand as a council is that you should know who's in your parish.
Yeah.
You should know who's going on. And I find it shocking that you don't. It took me 4
Neil
weeks as
knows
a
most
person to
people.
do that.
Mm.
But he's not on the council anymore.
No.
What do you need to be councillors, or can you look at people within the community who have emergency planning training? I mean, I personally, I'm on the emergency response team because of my job, and therefore, I'm not saying that I'm going to do it, but you might find that there are a lot of people who have the relevant training and experience, and therefore it gives you...
The stronger team we can put together, the better it is for the village.
I think what the lady said is good.
Yeah, we need to draw on the skill base that we've got, yeah.
But that is
Probably a lot of people in the community that have a lot of skills that would be useful
Mm.
in an emergency situation.
Yeah.
But it's to understand who is in your parish. Because believe me, it took me 4 weeks to try to speak to everybody. It was 95% that I spoke to.
So
we're looking at that Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we agree to set up the subcommittee. Dan, are you all right with just putting it onto your AGM on Tuesday?
No. No, I don't need to.
Because then it'll defer to November. So defer to November.
You see, I did slot that one planning on because it was time limited.
It's coming after
Friday.
the agenda had been issued, so...
Yeah, that's this Friday. It's just one planning on the bottom.
We're deferring it to November now, Richard. I'm quite happy to join in the group, yes.
I don't think it's a big planning anyway. I think it's a rush through.
Oh, no, I'm saying this emergency.
Oh, for this.
Okay, for Friday, not for Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh, so you can stick it on Friday if you want.
Right, okay. But the agenda's out for Friday.
Oh, yeah, that's
the
the point.
agenda's already
The agenda's
issued
out
for
for Friday,
we can't put it on
so...
Friday. We might end up with another AGM at the cost of the parish. Yeah, but we need a parish, we need a council of 3 to 4. Right, agenda item 17, finance report. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so with the grant money that has now come in from the RPA, we were at a balance of 107,464.42. But with the refund of the grant money going back out again, that will take us down with the payments that are on for this meeting. That will take us back down to 12,809, I think, or it could be 8.
Still 8 or 9.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I need a Specsavers appointment, so that's where we are on the finance.
All right.
Sorry, just the trees, with the finance that you're on that. When you do the trees, if you make sure what land there is, can you not, as a parish council, apply for the grant where you get the broadleaves planted, and that could be a
I'm not sure what you mean when we do the trees.
We can apply, we've taken over the common land, we will get an official agreement of National England to manage that common land. And that will give us an income into this parish council, and that's why it's valuable to the parish council and the community. We'll have an annual income from the land. We'll then give permission and they'll pay us to plant the trees, which will be a community in that land, and that's the benefit. This is why the Forestry Commission don't want to start it. Because it can come from that. When you're getting, because it's common land, you won't get a 5-year agreement, you get a 10-year agreement. Yes.
So that's something we can bring up with the Friends of the Lake District coming up on that dialogue as well. There's investments to be made.
So while the Forestry Commission is playing games with this, we are losing the income into this community.
And that is the parish, that is the parish here.
Yeah.
Okay, agenda item 18, payments for approval.
I'm going to say they've been circulated. Has anyone got any questions on them, or do you want me to go through each and every one? The chequebook's here for signature. The chequebook's here for signature, so as far as I'm aware, everyone's going to be paid when this is paid. How do you mean what's left?
No, the payments for approval, I don't know if this is the appropriate stage to mention it, but there is quite a lot of money left from the Jubilee.
Yeah.
It's very much under budget. And I just wondered if it might be useful for the
defib.
Mrs. Cregan about the defibrillator. Could that not be?
Reconcile the cost to somewhere and align somewhere
Yeah,
else.
the council could, if you want to bring that to the next meeting, the council could.
If I need
Yeah.
to bring it to a meeting.
Yeah, put that forward on a proposal or something for the next meeting, and what we can do is just via some of the money from the Jubilee to go into
For the coronation, we'll be able to budget
as a
out
grant
next year,
for
budget.
towards the whatever's left.
Do you have any timescales on what the proposal is there? Obviously, when you have the money to go ahead. I've got the contract on.
Yeah, I need to speak to, Ronnie's been speaking to Stuart Archibald. She kind of knows a bit more about it's taking over the phone box and everything.
It's making sure we make the decision in line with when it's needed.
We're still waiting for, Jane sent an email to Jill that Jill hasn't got, so we need the answers off that, and then we can work backwards
Jill, if
from
you
that
can't
one.
find it, email me back and I'll send it again.
The gather, who's a parish council, the owners bought the telephone boxes, that is refurbished, and the electrical will be on for 7 years. So being part of this negotiation, and then we're trying to join the two together with the gathered and the community.
Sorry, Richard, you said it's been drawn up with the parish council. What?
No, just hang on, you know, proposal will be coming in.
We've got to be careful then, haven't we?
The proposal with the owner, been drawn up, he's got the box for £1, he's had it painted, he's had it refurbished, the electric will be on for 7 years. I've discussed it with the gather, they'll take over they were willing to take over the maintenance of that and paint it as part of the community thing. That's what the hub's about. And then they'll raise some money and sort out, when the electric goes up after 7 years, some sort of facility like little solar panels to generate a little more 2 amp power into the box to make the community right. My understanding will be that the parish council, because it looks after it pays for the one in the village and it maintains that, the parish council should automatically take over the maintenance of the ones there. The defib in the gathering here is paid for by them, and they also pay for the maintenance because we already have one in the village. So that's the agreement that goes on now, but the one that is there should be taken over by the parish council. So that's what the understanding. And there's a piece of paper to set all that out, and for that to happen, Mr. Archibald has agreed. If that's all in place, he'll sign that. And he doesn't want any nonsense, no hassle, no conflict.
Then the rest of the parish council need to see that document.
Yeah, I'm saying that's what's going on, but we need to get the date and that sort of thing. So if we fetch it up at the next meeting, we can sort the cash in one thing other than move forward.
Yeah, it falls in line with the questions that was asked to Jill in the email, so we'll catch up with this email when we can.
Our draft budget time is November, so, you know, we draft it in November and then we finalise it in the January. So that's, I was asking Jill to get back to me so I could get it on our budget for November.
So if we've got Dave's memorial.
Yeah.
And when I spoke to Chris Abbott, he said that if he could probably get his fees to about £800, he was sourcing one for Kirkwood.
Yeah.
And so he said that the lady he was dealing with said that he could probably get for about £400, so we'd only need £400.
It's only it's registered land to Mr. Archibald who's willing to allow that access and everything else on condition that it's nice and simple.
Right. So we'll fetch this onto November's agenda. If it goes onto November's agenda, we'll get it ironed out. Right. Item 19. Date for the next meeting. Jane is going away on holiday So the proposal is to fetch the meeting to either the Tuesday the 8th of November or Thursday the 10th of November, or we fetch a local minute cost. So we're going to spend the parish council's money instead of just moving the date forward a few days. Sandra, have you got any commitments on either the 8th or the 10th of November?
Was it Tuesday or Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, of
So
November.
10th of November.
Can you? 10th better for you then?
10th of November, could do in the evening after 7.
Right, propose the 10th of November for the next meeting. Everybody in? Yep, that's fine. Yep. Yeah. What about Richard?
Sorry.
So that's the next official meeting, but we'll discuss the
Yeah, we've got
Yeah.
2 EGMs.
With 2 EGMs coming up.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna just tell.
Yeah, we have an EGM on Friday in the Gather at 6:30. This, 6:30.
Yes,
Yes.
So
yes.
you have to check if that can include public engagement or is that?
There's public engagement on it. Yes,
On both of them.
on both of them.
It'll probably need.
And then you'll be out again on Tuesday, Alan.
Just want to be rude, I think Alan was asking a different question. I think you responded to public participation. Alan was asking about
Consultation. Are you discussing the consultation?
Yeah.
No.
Friday's about timber transport. The following Tuesday it will be the consultation.
Or even the open communities, they don't want to come, they want to watch something really open. That's the whole thing that's what it's about.
So we can get our voice there.
Yes.
Limited time.
Yes, on your limited time,
Very
quickly.
quickly, 3 minutes.
Bullet points.
It needs to be more than.
Okay, so I'm going to call an end to the meeting at the time of 21:16. Thank you, everybody.